When you hear that nefarious beat running, you know what time it is. It's time for Ring Theories. It's your boy Downtown Brown, fresh back from Las Vegas. A little tired, a little refreshed, a little excited for what the future of wrestling could be. And had my brain going on some new theories. And so we're going to get crack-a-lacking on that today. But I'm just fresh to the main roster. We got to introduce my and my man who's the upper mid card, if you will, upper mid card, Jey Lacey. Hey,
What's happening, my man? How you doing, man? I know you just got back from Las Vegas from the WrestleMania weekend. I'm looking forward to hear everything that happened on the weekend, man. Everything that you can share on the podcast anyway for the weekend. How you doing, man?
Man, I have seen some graps, and I have seen too many graps at this point. I'm up to 12 shows of live appearances this year, and man, I would say WrestleMania weekend provided a lot of joy, a lot of good non-traditional wrestlers that I got introduced to,
That's what's
a
up.
lot of great non-traditional love, and a lot of good non-traditional spotlights, especially at WrestleMania with our two sisters, Jade and Naomi. So we'll definitely
Yes.
cover some other stuff going on with the people and my two big favorite matches. But man, I'm highly excited to have been there live for that triple threat with Io, Bianca, and Rhea. That made the ticket price alone well worth the show because those ladies knew how to deliver in that match. And then to be there the night previous for that other triple threat, man, to be out there singing the Fire That Burns, Punk's original theme song, man.
Right.
Took me back to my childhood memories, man. I was over here like people like, oh yeah, I geek out over John Cena. Nah, man, I'm geeking out over CM Punk over here. So I had a ball, and we'll get into that night 2 main event later. I got thoughts. I got many thoughts. So, but how'd you like the show? Like, how'd you feel about it? Did you watch anything else from the weekend?
You know what? I'm not gonna give my whole thoughts away on it, but the NXT show, that was fire. I think that was one of the more slept on cards. Watching the main event, but I'd say both the women's NXT title match as well as the men's NXT title match delivered for me. So watching that really got me hyped up for the week, or the weekend, I should say. And I got some thoughts to share on that. But I mean, I'm super excited about this debut show we got here, Ring Theory, and just dropping all my WrestleMania weekend thoughts, everything I read about. I didn't get a chance to go out there this year, but I did consume a lot of wrestling, a lot. So there we are, man.
Hey, but we can't talk about this huge weekend alone. And so we've got not only the nefarious ones in the back, but we also have some nefarious guests. And so I want to bring on one Maria from the Sisters with Sabers podcast. So, hey, can we welcome Sister Maria to the stage so she can then give us some good gospel about the WrestleMania weekend? Maria, where you at? Oh, she had to hit the pose and everything before she came on. What's good, Maria? How you doing? Oh, yeah, get that? Oh, yeah. She said now.
Oh, she on.
What? What are y'all saying?
Oh, we just laying the red carpet out for you to walk on.
Oh, so y'all talking all this mess behind my back because you knew I wasn't here yet.
No, we just rolled the red carpet out for you, giving you a grand intro, and just saying, hey, what's happening? We got Maria in the building. What's cracking? How you doing?
I am here. Hey, fam. It's been an interesting WrestleMania weekend, right? Huh.
Talk about
a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. What is the topic? What do y'all want to start with?
Well, just tell us a couple of your big highlights from the WrestleMania weekend.
Okay. Jade and Naomi, like off the bat, that's it. That was really it. Like, it was just really nice to see black womening, and it was emotional for me. I'm not gonna lie. And as someone who was like a Naomi fan from day one, like it's so nice to see her character develop and grow. And in these amazing ways, and it feels like a new chapter for her. Like she's got a new character. She had new music, like a new outfit. I was loving it. I was loving it for sure. I didn't expect her to win. Like she's going against Shade Cargill. I'm like, oh my God, this ain't happening. But like it was a really impressive showing. And anytime that like the light is on Black women, I'm always front and center. So it was an amazing time for sure. But man, so many highlights from that match. Like start to finish, like they told a cohesive story. It made sense. Wow. Just incredible. Let's see. What else was good? That RKO came out of nowhere. Oh boy. I'm like, first off, who's this corny dude? And how did he just get laid out like that? I was like, okay, they did my man so dirty.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I did not have Joe Hendry walking out and being Randy Orton's mystery opponent. I mean,
me either.
I didn't think it was gonna be Rusev. I really didn't think it was gonna be Aleister Black. I had no idea. So that was like a happy surprise for me. And you know, just to hear his Joe Hendry's theme song kick in, and making the walk down, I was like, okay, you know, and you could see on Randy Orton's face too that he was like, okay, this kid is somebody, you know, it's just not like this goof, you know what I mean? So that was a pleasant surprise, and honestly, it didn't overstay its welcome. I'm glad it was like maybe it was less than 5 minutes. They got that thing in and out and on to the next one. So I was happy to see that.
And to be there live for that, I honestly thought for whatever reason we might have done a Solo comes out, then that match gets interrupted with Tama, and then Nick Aldis comes out, strips down, and he's just down to his suit pants. He's like, you know what? I can't let WrestleMania end like this. It'll be a tag team match, player, between me and Randy versus Solo and the Bloodline. But having that match, I feel bad for the TNA World Championship because I am a fan of the TNA World Championship and its lineage. But it was a great moment to see live. I bet you Joe Hendry his heart was probably on 10 and he was probably having the greatest time of his life.
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
though he was definitely being treated so corny, I feel like the man was I was feeling his joy in that moment in the crowd, even with the whole turn in RKO. Being there live, I still didn't see it coming. And so, what a beautiful moment. But I also want to say somebody else's name so they can appear. And so, with that being said, I'm talking about the host of the True North Nerds podcast. I'm talking about also somebody who's a co-host of Kung Fu Island here on the Nefarious Media Network. I'm talking about Brett Chinnedin. Hey, say his name and he appears. How you doing, Brett?
I am very well. Thank you for having me, guys.
Hey, welcome.
Yes, sir.
How about you? What are some of your highlights from this WrestleMania weekend that has passed?
So for WrestleMania itself, Joe Hendry's appearance really surprised me. More along the line, like different thought of, I thought for sure it was going to be Rusev or Malachi Black just as an emergency. It sounds like Kevin Owens being eliminated from that match came kind of late in the game, and I kind of thought they were going to pull the lever, but they brought out Joe Hendry, who got probably one of the biggest pops of the show, with his entrance. They gave him a little bit of back and forth too, so it wasn't a squash like a lot of people were saying. It was short, but he got his stuff in. Jade and Naomi, that was a great match. The women's with the women's three-way was also really good. The men's side of the things, I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later. WrestleMania week, I wasn't able, because of the day job, I wasn't able to catch a lot of shows, but I did catch the Natty Neidhart match from Bloodsport. And that would, I really hope that spurs on a movement to get her more time somewhere.
I like that, and hopefully a new direction and character for her because I saw some of the clips from that. I wasn't able to make it to that show live, but that hearing that new angle for her, having her have that new type of energy, she's been here for so long and she's kind of had that almost same character. We only had that small refresh, in my opinion, in that Total Divas era where she had Tyson and it was
Mm.
Natty's husband and all that gimmick that she was doing with the cat ears and her cat as well. But
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know.
Natty is unfortunately like she's a good soldier for the company, always has been. She does whatever they like. We got to remember they gave her that farting gimmick a couple of years ago and she just sucked it up and went with it. But that tends to go two ways. Either ends up being rewarded, like John Cena is a prime example of a guy who was a good soldier and got rewarded for it, or you get somebody like Natty or Dolph Ziggler, where it's the we will use you forever, but you aren't going anywhere. So I'm hoping this will kind of knock her back into contention somewhere. But at the same time, there's so many good women wrestlers right now that you almost like I want to see her up there, but I also don't want her to see her knock somebody out who's up there as well. So yeah, that's where I'm sitting.
Well, I would love anybody else's opinion on this, but don't we think might be a great spot for Natty to take one of those mid card belts and maybe promote that and push that and make that a little something special? So that way she's not taking a top spot,
Yeah,
but we can still highlight her, promote her. What are your thoughts, everybody?
Maria, I'll go ahead. The floor is yours.
Sorry. At the same time, I have my little one here, so that's part of my life. Yes, I'm talking about you. Oh no. Oh no, she's coming. Everybody hide.
She's making a debut.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
What's up, little mama?
Bye. We're talking about wrestling. Do you have your Sasha Banks doll? No. Yes. Okay. She gonna go find it. I love Natty, and man, how did she catch that stray at the Hall of Fame? Did you see that?
No.
Like Triple H was talking about China and how she like didn't have a famous name, and then the cam guy just cuts to Natty. I'm like, how'd she catch that stray? Like, okay. I was like, damn.
Kevin Dunn back in the building. What's going on?
I feel like Natty's kind of earned it. You know, she's been around forever, and I don't know. She's one of the few white women in the world. Like I gotta speak on. Like, hold on, they're not all trash. Like her and Brittany, I'll show up for. Like she's not it. She's not it. She's not one of the ones. But yeah, I think that Natty could definitely hold one of those titles. It's just there's a lot of stiff competition right now with women, and I love it. I remember the days of like the Divas matches and how like cringe those were, and you know that was the only female representation really happening. It's nice to see that things have changed in a positive way.
And it's nice that Natty has gotten that far because Natty came from that generation too. So for Natty to have, I don't want to say outlasted, like this is the Hunger Games or something, but like she has survived a long period in that company and through a lot of gimmicks that even Brent, you were talking about she had to suck up with. And so she has earned the right to at least go out on a main event level before because I know there were talks at times of her being pushed into an agent role. Like, no, she needs to be highlighted with this great talent that is coming up because she deserves that. Give her a nice run in the Queen of the Ring tournament next time. Give her these big highlight spots that you can have her not only wrestling other talent and giving them the chance to shine, but also letting her shine her and show her skills that have progressed and grown throughout the years. She's not the same Natty that she was before. She's only growing and evolving. So,
you know, there's something to be said about that tournament idea because she's competing in the Crockett Cup too, right? for NWA.
Oh, she is?
I believe she is. Because that's one
well,
of the
hey.
two like outside things that
Oh,
she's
wow.
doing. But it wouldn't be a bad idea how far she goes in that, and then have her go far in like Queen of the Ring. You know, in a crazy world, say, hey, go to AEW and say you'll be in the Owen. And like it's like, and Tony, as much as he has everything against WWE, he ain't going to bury her in that tournament. Like, she may not win, but and that would and bring her back at Queen of the Ring, and she's like this like tournament hardened fighter chick from like that we saw in Bloodsport, and that sky's the limit at that point. But what do I know?
No, I love that idea. That's a sweet idea. How about you, Jay?
I love that fantasy booking. If reality will only catch up with that, man, I would love to see her compete, for Uncle Owen. In her words, that would be very dope. I mean, her showing, I didn't see I just saw like the highlights of Bloodsport. I wish they would showcase her skills and talents on a WWE screen, in that manner, give a little bit more realistic, because I'm peeling the layers of Natalya versus Natty. Oh my gosh. I mean, it gave Shayna Baszler a second life, and where we were like, hey, I want to see Shayna wrestle more. And then she reverted back, unfortunately. But if they would do this with Natty, I think that would just add some more layers to her character, strengthen the already strong women's roster, and then bring up these young ones that are, in development to, sharpen their skills up against a real one. So yeah, I would love to see that. That would be an awesome way to showcase and, keep the talent that you have growing and developing.
And she seems so
that.
nice.
I love that. Man, I love that, Jay. And she is nice, but hey, sometimes nice got to get nasty with it. So
put that on a shirt. I like that.
But with that being said, another real one that we talk about here at the Nefarious Network, one of the godfathers, one of our proprietors. We want to bring him on. We don't want to leave him in the back for too long. We talking about Brother Nate Milton. So hey, come on out to the stage, Brother Nate. How you doing, my man?
What's going on, family? What's going on, Girard, Jay? It's good to see y'all, and it's good to be with our guests. First of all, Sister Maria, it's been too long. And here's the thing y'all need to know about my friend, Sister Maria. So,
oh boy,
for many years, she hosted a great Star Wars podcast called Sisters with Sabers, right? It was an excellent show. If you ain't catch it, man, it's probably still up somewhere, man. Go listen, check it out, what her and her team did with that one. But something you got to know, you got to understand, Girard, because I saw how Maria, y'all was bringing Maria in and it wasn't quite synced up right. Maria run on a different kind of time, right?
I do.
Maria run on that CPT, and what I mean by that, Brent Chittenden, is she run on that Calrissian people time, if you know what I'm saying. That's how my sister gets that.
Oh my God. I'm never gonna beat the allegations. I'm always late. I am.
But yeah, you always late, but you always on time, fam. You always on time.
Well, now they lied to me. They trick me and they tell me to be there at 2, but it's really nobody showing up till 2:30. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with y'all. My husband will do that every time. Okay, we gotta leave at 4. Knowing we don't gotta be nowhere till 6. I'm like, damn. He's like, well, it'll take you that long to get yourself together.
You got to know your teammates. And speaking of knowing the teammates, I knew Girard, I knew Jay, that this man Brent Chittenden was gonna come on here with some foolishness. I knew as soon as he got an opportunity, he was gonna bring up the damn Kumite, because that's what Brent does on Kung Fu Island. I knew he was gonna do it here tonight. So you are not beating the Kumite allegations either, Brent Chittenden.
It was a good match. What can I say? And and I know Bloodsport is not a show for everybody. Right. Like that. Like, it is a customer of mine and I were talking about it, and he's like, it is a niche within a niche thing to begin with. Mm-hmm. But it did a really good job of showcasing what she can do. And at the same time, what's his name? Chris Van Vliet put out the interview he did with her. I guess he had recorded it a couple weeks earlier. And she you want good things for her because it sounds like she has always done what they've asked of her, and she just like wants a chance to show that like, hey, I'm good. I'm not just like good for getting your talent over, or it like what I was unaware of is helping polish up a lot of the women who are on the roster right now. Because she's got like a ring in her basement, I guess, where she's been helping training people.
Okay.
Like her and TJ, which like that should be like, that's her retirement plan. She's the like those two going into that business full time. That's a Lance Storm or a Create a Pro situation where like they go to town teaching. We're going to get a brand new crop of like good, solid wrestlers out of it.
Yeah.
Why not resurrect the dungeon if you could?
That's what she calls it, actually.
And honor Stu. So, okay. Because they were the last two students of the dungeon, if I'm correct. Were they not?
Supposedly.
I think so. That was the rumor.
So,
the dungeon. That's a name I haven't heard in years.
But somebody who is not in the dungeon, but in the classroom instead, is our illustrious Professor Chris. And we would love to bring him out to the stage as well to join us to talk about WrestleMania weekend.
What's up? Oh, hey, what's up, y'all? I'm chilling, just taking it all in.
I've never seen you this relaxed, Chris.
Yeah, kind of like, you know.
That alleged gummy kicking.
I think people are expecting me to rant and stuff. I don't think The Rock is worth a rant. This time around, you know, that he's been a little suspect since probably before the Elimination Chamber, since the day he asked Cody for a soul. That's, you have to believe in the concepts of souls for one. And then it was just so silly and convoluted. So I guess we'll get into all of that. But I thought WrestleMania, from a outsider looking in, I didn't have FOMO for not going to WrestleMania this year, and I thought I might. I was looking forward to going. But then when I saw like none of the post people were gonna go, and none of like the True Hill Heat people were going, so I was like, I can sit this one out, and I don't feel bad about it.
You could have gone and hung out with Girard, dog.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't know Girard was gonna go until like maybe a month before he was gonna go. I mean, granted, it's only Las Vegas. I don't live that far from Las Vegas. It was still just, I just had a feeling it wasn't gonna be this banger that I thought it was.
If you saw that main event live, that would have pissed you off. I know you, Chris.
Yeah. So I think, and everyone has said this on every show that I've listened to since. It's like, if you would have taken like maybe the first 3 matches from night 1 and like the last 4 matches from night 2 or something like that, however it's been framed, it would have been like a perfect WrestleMania. But you had to have all the other stuff that just wasn't that necessary. And then you ended it on that. On night 2 was just, I really do wish like The Rock and the other corporate suits at TKO, which is like, I understand damage control, because, you know, one of the things I used to do was, or still sometimes do, is like help businesses remodel when they're in like a corporate mess. You know, if something happens and they're trying to save face, I'll be a part of the team to kind of help them clean up and give them the right statements to say and all that stuff. And I do think that with this WrestleMania, listening to The Rock on Pat McAfee and Triple H and all these other idiots, I really do think the best course of action for everybody involved is to just eat the L. Like, say, look, we know the main event wasn't as great as it could be. You don't have to say it sucked because it's your company. You don't want to say it sucked, but even though it did suck, you want to say that's for the internet people to say it sucked, but you want to at least acknowledge that it wasn't everything it could have been. The Rock kind of did that, but he also had a bunch of fluff around that statement where he's like, I would have finessed things differently. Nah, you shouldn't have did the shit at all. It was not good. Just come out and say, look, this wasn't the best thing we did. And I think The Rock falls into that category of like people who like, when it comes to like boxing trainers and like NBA coaches and owners and stuff, the superstars are never really great at that. They're always okay at it. It's all the people that always make the good coaches are not like Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas and Jason Kidd and people like that. It's usually like JJ Redick and Phil Jackson and people that were okay basketball players, but not like great basketball players. They end up being the best coaches. And I think Rock falls in that category. He was a great wrestler, great entertainer, but I don't think WWE creative is part of that guy's ministry, man. I think it's not what it is. It's just I ain't saying that because I'm like the biggest Rock fan. He's been blessed with, unfortunately.
Shoot, Final Boss tried to cut your mic off there for a second, Chris.
You sure did.
Oh yeah. I might have to move to the guest room.
Dwayne was like, cut that shit off.
Shit. Chris over here. What's going on? You can't silence me.
Hey, when Chris was going through his diatribe with the whole WrestleMania thing, two thoughts one thought really came to mind. I looked at WrestleMania as, remember Jay-Z's album, The Gift and the Curse?
Yeah.
You got the double CD.
Mm-hmm.
You had some bangers on one CD, and the other CD was just like trash or what. Not I want to say trash, but it was like I don't listen to it as much. I think that's what this WrestleMania was for me. I mean, there was some good stuff on both nights, and there's some not so good things on both nights as well. If it was condensed down to one night, you took the best of everything on one night.
Oh yeah,
you'd have a hit.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wanted to have FOMO. I've been to WrestleManias before, and I love the energy of the crowd. I love the energy of like everybody that was there, and I'm sure Girard, you could speak to this. I mean, the camaraderie and everybody meeting and doing everything that all the different events that are going on in the city. But watching it from home, I was like, oh man, night one was like, well, night two was better, and it started out good with the triple threat on night two, and then it just kind of just stuttered, and then we got the closing match, and oh man, it was a little bit of a letdown for me, personally, Girard, what was it like in the building, going to the Cody and Cena match?
Night two was a great ride with the kickoff of the triple threat. You went into Drew and Priest. The card kept building and building, in my opinion. I thought we were doing just fine. We get to the Cena match. You could feel the energy in the building. There's a lot of nervousness. There's a lot of emotion in the building because it's Cena's last WrestleMania. And so people are booing Cody. But weirdly enough, people were booing Cena too. So I was like, who do we love? who do we love in this match, folks?
Who do you love? Are you for sure?
Right.
But by the end of it, we roll into this match that I am flabbergasted by, because I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, it's gonna ramp up eventually. Like Cena's starting out slow. And I always have to remind myself, one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time is Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. And that had a nice slow start, but then they built and crescendo very well into that match. So just sometimes let stuff build, let the story play out, as we like to say. But he just kept punching and kicking. I'm like, homie, enough axe handles.
Right,
do some different offense. Like, what are you doing? Like, I get that you're working a deliberate pace. And here's the sneaky thing about that main event that I kept having the realization the whole time. He said he was going to ruin wrestling. So, like, when he has these performances, he like it's just it. It's a part of the story. You can cop out and say, "Oh, I was just ruining wrestling." Like, or maybe is this what you can do now? Like, I hope not, because like everybody else has set it up the wall. I was screaming that the whole time during that main event because I just felt like, I know you can wrestle better than this because I saw you do that live in Toronto. But now what are you doing here? Like, what is this? Like, with a younger Cody, who is somebody who is excited to work with you, this is what we're delivering with this? And Travis Scott, my dog, like, you didn't need to be there. You didn't need to be there. Yeah. I don't hate you like a lot of wrestling fans hate you. I actually like your music because I just be vibing. But nonetheless, homie, you ain't the star that's captivating everybody. Because everybody kept looking past you, waiting for Dwayne to come down. Literally, we're talking to people at WWE World the next day, and they're just like, "Yeah, I just sat there filming, waiting."
Wow.
So when you hear the silence, when you hear the non-reactions, because people are waiting for something else to happen, because we're foolish wrestling fans that have been trained that on cue, when Travis is here, oh, Dwayne's here. So somebody's always following Travis. Yeah. And it's from the Samoan family, shockingly. It's Jey on the first Raw. It's somebody from the bloodline always coming down that path. So who's coming next? Oh, it's just him.
Yeah, they didn't set Travis Scott up for success, unfortunately. And what made it even worse is Master P on AEW this week did like a fantastic job.
Talk about it.
It's just, man, like I felt bad for Travis Scott. If there was anybody I felt bad for in this whole situation, it would have been Travis Scott. The talent, actually. John Cena, Travis Scott, and Cody. I think they deserved a little bit better than this. And I just think the creative, and nobody wants to take responsibility for it. So they should share the responsibility. The Rock, Triple H, and Nick Khan, whoever else. I mean, it just did not. And like I said, it wasn't the worst thing ever, but in the modern era, it is one of the worst things.
Yeah. For me, Girard, it's like Jay's been saying, like everybody's been saying, if you smash both nights into one night, you got an all-time WrestleMania, except for that main event. But night one, I was just sitting there the whole time, just like, is it me? Like, is something wrong with me? Because I'm not enjoying this, man.
Right.
And like the main event of night one was great. Like, I enjoyed that three-way. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? It's Easter weekend. You know, this was just like the church Easter play, right? You do the dress rehearsal before the main play. You know, in the dress rehearsal, Jesus showing up wearing Tim's, Pontius Pilate in a FUBU suit. Like, ain't nobody got their regular robes on. Ain't nobody in costume, you know what I'm saying? But Rabbit's out here with the Jinko jeans on. Like, ain't nobody dressed up the way they supposed to be. But Sunday night, when they do the real play, everybody on point. So I'm like, okay, Sunday night they're gonna give it to us. And for a while, Girard, like you mentioned, that women's triple threat, the two, the one-on-one street fight with Damian and Drew, that was hot. The four-way for the IC title exceeded all expectations. And Dominic came out like a huge star-making performance for Dirty Dom Mysterio. So I'm like, yo, this is shaping up to be an all-timer. And then Logan Paul came out. And I'm like, Logan Paul just brought down the whole energy in the room. Then, you know, you had the women's tag match, it was cool to see Becky back, but it felt like just watching, like the crowd was hyped to see Becky, but they really went into that match. and the crowd energy kept, at least as a viewer at home, it felt like it kept going down. Stone Cold woke it up with his drunk driving ass. Like,
Yeah, he did.
drunk driving, and I want to make sure we put this out there, man. Drunk driving is never funny. It's never okay. Drunk driving is not cool.
Right.
But Stone Cold drunk driving an ATV into the damn crowd, that was funny because nobody really seriously got hurt. That was hilarious. But then that main event, man, I was just like, dog. And it took hearing John Pollock over at Post Wrestling, man, him and Wade talking about it. And it's like, if you had just made this the babyface matchup, it was supposed to be the whole time,
Right.
and then the heel turn happens in the course of the match, then it doesn't matter really how good the match was, because all we talking about coming off of this WrestleMania is like, yo, Cena just turned heel. And you didn't even have to involve The Rock if you wanted to go that way. But because, like you said, they already set up our expectation that Travis Scott, John Cena, and The Rock are aligned. And when we see Travis Scott, somebody like, can I get a chi who? Maui should be following this brother. And Maui never showed up. And so it's just like that main event it fell flat to me. Like, I just wasn't feeling it. And so overall, it just kind of felt like a middle of the road WrestleMania. And that's not the feeling you want for your biggest show of the year.
I love
For
that.
me, it brought down the whole WrestleMania. I'm that guy. If whatever I leave the show on is how I feel about the show. And then, which, like you were saying about what's the guy's name? Logan Paul. And just leaving off of that note it just did nothing for me, man. And I grade the matches the same way. I grade the match for the match itself, but then I grade all the stuff around it. And I grade the heel turn the same way. Because on the night of the heel turn, I was like, this is great. And everything that's followed it, I was willing to say this was the number 2 heel turn after Hogan's. Now I got to put it at number 3 until they do something else, because it's been unremarkable, man. It's like me in the 2010s. I was an unremarkable dater.
That's why you had 47 girlfriends, brother.
I was an unremarkable boyfriend.
Chris was the John Cena of boyfriends because then women couldn't see him.
No.
Unremarkable Chris Healy is hilarious.
The phenomenal AJ Styles versus the unremarkable Chris Healy. Book it.
Nate, I like your scenario way better. Like, if they had saved the Cena heel turn for WrestleMania, then that's all anyone would be talking about. Even my husband looked at me and he's like, so is The Rock coming or what? Like, where's he at? I'm like, I don't know where anything is.
So were all the people who bought the t-shirt.
All
it's
black
just,
people know where The Rock is at? What's up?
Right.
He wasn't at the last meeting. I didn't see him there.
He ain't been to the meetings in a while.
You need to call your people and see where he's at. So I'm like, I'm not responsible for Maui. Why would I know? Like, okay. Yeah, it's just I found myself more interested in that triple threat match on night 1, even though I didn't really for me, Seth Rollins is just Seth Rollins. Like, he's a mid-card guy. I don't care what nobody's. He'll always be a mid-card guy to me.
Yeah, I've beat
period.
Across all the platforms that me and Nate are on, I've repeatedly
Chris is
said
a
that.
staunch Seth Rollins slanderer.
Okay, well, work.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I like Seth Rollins, but like, I do think him winning made sense because, like, when you watch, like, if you watch the the Oscars that year, Marissa Tomei won. She was canceled out by all the like better performances that year. It wasn't like Melissa Tomei doesn't necessarily suck as an actor, but she wasn't great in that movie, and all the other people in that category were just too good, so she got the award. And I think
that's wild.
I think with
How
CM
Marissa
Punk,
Tomei catch a stray?
I'm trying to follow you down. I'm with you. I'm
with
hanging with you.
With CM Punk and Roman Reigns, you kind of had to give it to Seth Rollins, if I'm being just completely honest, because like especially when what they did on night 2, it made sense. Like, why? Because in the immediacy, you're like, why in the fuck would you pick the worst one out of the 3 to be his manager? But then when you see night 2, it's like, okay, you are trying to build up a future, and you got Braun Breaker a part of the group, and Seth Rollins is going to be the leader of the group. Now it makes sense. So, I didn't mind that match. I thought from that point of view, it made perfect sense.
Talking about this group that's forming, who do we think will be a future Paul Heyman guy or girl?
Becky.
I think he needs a black guy in there. I don't know.
He needs a DEI Paul Heyman guy.
Okay.
A non-traditional Paul Heyman guy.
Non-traditional.
I don't think it could be Trick, because Trick is already the muscle, and you don't need 2 muscles.
We don't need 2 muscles.
Yeah, so it's maybe.
What about Carmelo?
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I don't know if they take him serious enough to put him in that group. But I was definitely thinking Melo.
I don't know. I feel that they've picked, like, Braun is like, he's the future of this entertainment business guy in the group. So they need a woman. Becky, due to her heel turn, she makes the most sense right now. Part of me, I'm an old school traditional guy. Part of me feels they need a tag team in there, and maybe New Day can add Heyman into that mix.
I'm not mad.
Freshen up that heel turn just a little bit more.
I'm
that
not mad
might
at that
be
at all.
interesting.
Yeah, that actually isn't a horrible.
I'm following you. I'm picking that up.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. Yeah, because I think and I don't know what the New Day is gonna do. Like that title with that Mania, I was hoping I would know if they were gonna re-sign with the company after that title win. Like if it would tell the story, oh, New Day is here to stay. But I'm just as unsure as ever as what they're gonna do when their contracts come due.
Are they in a contract year?
This is a contract year for them. I double checked it, and this is a contract year.
When is it up? Any idea?
It's up, I want to say, in May or June. So June.
Oh, so not far away. Okay,
wow.
yeah.
So it's not. They and I haven't heard anything. I mean, maybe Ray could probably Google it, but I haven't seen that they signed anything new. I think that they're still in limbo, and that title win doesn't. They didn't I mean, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a win that was like a dominant win, or these guys are going to be the heel tag team of the future or whatever. So I don't know.
Having a title doesn't solidify a damn thing.
Nope.
In my mind.
No, it doesn't.
I've been watching too long
to
believe in that.
The only thing that solidifies anything is pen to paper. That is it.
Period.
If you don't have that, then anything's up for grabs.
Get your receipts. Get your
All
receipts.
of them. All of
But
them.
how about you, Jay? Who are you thinking about?
Until he said New Day, I was really thinking Street Profits.
Oh, that's not.
okay.
I don't mind that at all either.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean they were kind of like running like a hamster on a wheel, just going nowhere fast really until they got the title win. But I mean, New Day makes a little bit more sense because they're all on the same Raw program, so I could see that happening.
I'm about to say I like the Street Profits idea because if you ever wanted to tease or go down the road to break them up, Paul Heyman being the catalyst to get in either Montez's or Angelo's ear to then have that catalyst cracks fall between their relationship. Hey, I don't think that'd be a bad thing to do. Paul Heyman's known to do that before, but I'm looking to NXT. I'm thinking maybe we might get a Stephanie Becker in there. Because
Okay.
I think you can look at Paul Heyman in 3 different ways. You can look at him as somebody who can strengthen somebody who has a weakness, like a Brock Lesnar, and then make the other strengths look great. You can then have him boost somebody who is trying to craft their voice and build them up, like they tried to do with the Curtis Axel and the Cesaro and whatnot, to no success. But I don't think
But
the
the
TV time
company
was
has to-
behind it as well. So
The company has to believe in the guys too, right? That's the thing. That was why Curtis Axel and Cesaro and them guys didn't do as well. If the company believed in those guys, maybe they would have been good Paul Heyman guys, you know?
I think Stephanie falls into that category. She's solid in the ring. And here's the thing, I think she's developing really great on the mic, and she's got a really great personality. Being there live on Raw when she came out prior to that match with EO and then going into that match with EO. To me, I love the promo. I love the back and forth between them. We're letting them, the crowd loved it. The energy was there for it. We wanted the match. I don't know why Adam Pearce wasted all that time doing all that when we could have just sent a ref out and started the match. Like,
Right, yeah.
homie, we know you want the match too. Just start it. Come on, stop playing. But if we just boost her up a little bit with that, let her sharpen her English and do more alongside Paul Heyman and other people, I think by the time she leaves the group, she'll be a megastar. And I don't think I think she's already on that path. I think this is like those rockets that fall off when you're going into orbit or going into space. Paul would just be lashing onto her to take her a little bit faster.
Yeah,
that's all. So, and then I think there's the top tier people who are like your punks who already iron sharpened, and it's just improving the package, just that cherry on top. And so New Day could be that cherry on top where they boost their heel turn. I like that, Brent. That was a great idea. I love the Street Profits idea. But do we think any of these people potentially could take down the Real World's champions, John Cena, Mr. Number 17, who won the title? Do we think any of these people in Paul Heyman's group, do you think Paul can negotiate them to get a title shot against the Real World's champion? And who do we think gets that shot? Oh, Brent, shut that down real quick.
Yeah, Brent didn't even think about it. He just
I like that match with Randy is like that's secured at this point, so that he's not winning it. I want to say Cody's the one who takes the belt back eventually, but I don't know who else gets thrown into the John Cena wood chipper until then. It's a Randy, and then
it's a very, very slow and deliberate wood chipper.
Yeah, because I'm my guess is he takes it back at Survivor Series.
Yeah, Mr. Survivor Series. Okay,
that sounds right.
That sounds yeah. Honestly, there's part of me, and I'm petty this way. I would really, really like to see John Cena walk away with the belt. Retire with the belt. Just throw chaos into it, just to see what would happen. You know, I like John Cena's new presentation. I mean, his new entrance, just the spotlight, just like Batista had years ago, walking down the aisle, everything in block letters, black and white. Loved it. That's what I wanted to see. And again, like one of the previous shows we talked about, I knew the crowd was going to turn on John. I knew they were going to basically start cheering for him, and he's a puppet master. He will, pull the strings and guide the direction of the audience and take you on a ride wherever you want to go. So, what he did on Monday night is exactly what I thought he would do. That right there was like, you know what? I really wish he would walk away with that belt. Take the same belt that Bruno had, and Macho Man had, and Ric Flair, and all these other great champions, and just retire it as the last real world champion and go home.
Can I throw another idea on top of that?
Go for it.
So, announce Cena's last match, and Punk is the guy to wrestle him that night.
Oh, I love it.
And Punk reenacts that, or Cena reenacts what Punk did, like wins, goes out into the crowd, blows him a kiss, and then walks out.
Wow.
I love it. Okay.
WWE, I hear from LinkedIn that you are looking for a writer right now. My BlueSky is in the bottom there. I could be persuaded to work part-time.
I hate to break it to you, Brent. They ain't hiring nobody with BlueSky in the bio. Gotta be
Nope.
X, brother.
Yeah. And even if they hire, if Dwayne says, "I'm not having that, brother," then it doesn't.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
I honestly think Dwayne is more powerful than not just Triple H, but Nick Khan. I really do. I think he does what he wants when he comes back. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, the name of the game here is ring theory, and let's just sit on this for a little bit longer. So let's play out that scenario. If Cena was to leave with that belt, go home with it, are we looking at a WCW Big Bang reset come next year with the Rumble and building a new champion for that? Do we promote the World Heavyweight Championship to be the more important belt? And by that point, does Seth Rollins and the Paul Heyman gang have that belt under their control now? Or what are we doing? What are your ideas?
For me, is just so not gonna happen that I can't even think of what they would do in that situation, because I just don't think Cena wants to do that. I think he wants to lose to somebody and have somebody be his heir apparent. I don't think he necessarily, and Cody is his heir apparent.
No, well, hold on, because Girard sparked something in my mind when he brought up those great letters from the past, Chris, of WCW. What if last match, it's not Cena versus Punk, it's a mystery opponent, and that mystery opponent comes straight from the Black People's meeting where he was talking with Maria over punching cookies, and it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and we get Finger Poke of Doom 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh no.
Cena drops the belt to The Rock.
Y'all are just trolling with these things.
I'm just throwing out a theory, Chris.
We got to be for real. At some point, we have to be for real.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I just don't think Cena is gonna do that. I think that he's losing to someone. I think he's losing to Cody.
Yeah.
I think Cody's getting the belt back from him. It's just how they get there. It's gonna be how they get there. He could retire with the belt, but I don't know. I don't even know what that means to me.
Right. Well, another question.
The Rock heard his voice.
Rock heard that. He's like,
keep that man's name out of your mouth.
That's 3. Nope.
Say his name and he cuts off Chris's mic. I believe in Dwayne Johnson. Girard, I want to throw a question back at you because you had a good theory before WrestleMania where you were talking about Cena would lose and that would force him to eventually revert back to that babyface persona because he tried to do it the cheap way. He tried to do it the easy way and it didn't work. And I thought that's a very good story, but it's way too clever for the WWE. Like they ain't making prestige television. They making Psych. And Psych can be a good show. I used to love Psych, but it ain't, it ain't Breaking Bad on these streets. Yeah. But my question is, because we know Cena's not going to retire as a heel. I don't believe he will. So how do we go from A to B in terms of him reverting back? Does he have to lose the belt in order for that change to occur?
I think in my heart of hearts, and I think I'm just bending it to my own will. At this point, I want to see at SummerSlam, it's going to be Cody and Cena. And I think there's a double turn that happens at SummerSlam. Because I don't think Cody gets that belt back without getting booed. I genuinely don't. And it's the energy. If that same energy was at that WrestleMania stadium that follows him to SummerSlam, people are not going to want to see. He just had it for a year. People going to want him to have a break from it for a little bit. And so for him to want it so badly and to chase it so badly down to SummerSlam that he's just by any means necessary, maybe he's not going full heel, but he's just flirting on that line and
Mhm.
shoving the ref back when the ref is getting in his face and being aggressive with it. Cena gives us, we run it back because it's the new thing this year to run back matches that we mess up. So we doing it on Dynamite when we said, hey, we're sorry for Revolution. Here's the run back for that. Or here, hey, we're sorry for the tag match on WrestleMania. We'll run it back on Raw and have a stronger match for you all, the same match the next night. It's run it back, have a better match, have Cena actually, you know what, if we have to do this run with Cena as a heel and we have to have him be an infant and relearn how to be a wrestler with his punches and kicks and his mediocre moves, let's increase those, because he had like 2 moves of doom during that match. Let's increase it to 5. Let's get back to that 5 by SummerSlam. Let's get that work rate and stretch those muscles out. Have a great match with Cody, and let's kick forward to Survivor Series, where I'd rather see Drew McIntyre, the man who seemingly can't keep John Cena's name out his mouth for whatever reason. He's coming back for that eventually, and I think he's coming back to get it later on. So
Okay, I got it.
Brent's back in.
So Triple H likes his trilogies. We know this with his matching, and I can throw in a bit of what Girard was saying there. So next we have Randy. Randy loses. We go to Cody again. The John Cena makes it clear that you're not getting another shot at this unless there is an act of God. Cody loses as a face. Fast forward, so throw somebody else in the John Cena wood chipper. We get the Survivor Series. Cody magically gets another shot, and Cena is like, how did you manage to pull that off? And Cody has sold his soul. Rock comes out and puts his hands on Cody's shoulders, and that's where we get the heel turn, and that's how Cody ends up with the match. And then he does some dastardly stuff in the match.
okay, I like
At least
that.
one punch to the
Right.
wait. Is the small child still there?
Well,
I don't want to cuss in front of children.
Oh, she's heard way worse.
So at least in that match, Cody is at least punching Cena in the balls once, maybe 3 times.
Yeah, what's up with all the low blows recently? Like, what's that about?
Yeah. Heyman took it to a whole nother level.
He was just all about it.
Yes, that part.
Keep that man off your nutsack. He's coming for it.
The death fish was diabolical.
I would say this man, I don't know how I felt about this, but that man's face just had so much joy and glee doing it.
A
You
lot.
could just, all that aggression, all those times he was shoved down by his tribal chief, all those times.
He was
I
doing
remember
the
that
most.
Roman. I'm getting it back in blood.
Yeah.
Who's that?
I
I'm gonna
haven't-
sign my name in cursive while I'm low blowing you.
I haven't seen Paul Heyman that happy since he showed up on the McAfee show to take out Shannon Sharp.
Oof. I was in the
I
background
saw that. That was like Monday.
in the
Wasn't it?
building.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
I saw that shit. Yeah.
Yay.
The only reason why I don't think Cody is turning heel is because that was one thing that TKO did, one Rock idea that TKO did put the kibosh on, if you believe what Meltzer was saying in The Observer, was The Rock originally wanted Cody to turn heel, and Triple H in that interview he just did recently, he was the one that came up with the idea, why don't we have John Cena turn heel? Because John Cena's on his way out. Cody Rhodes is still a money maker for that company. I don't think you should just turn him all willy-nilly unless you've got somebody next in line that's gonna take his place. That's gonna be the heir apparent, especially if you're gonna have Roman and Punk on and Rollins on the other show. Well, not Rollins, but Roman and Punk on the other show. You need Cody Rhodes as a face, because I don't even know who's like second to Cody Rhodes that can come in and be the face?
Ooh, on SmackDown? Ooh, who is the number 2
Yeah.
face on SmackDown?
I have
Is it
no
LA
idea.
Knight?
LA Knight would be, but
At
he's
this
still
rate, it would be
getting-
Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, you
they
ain't
could-
wrong.
but they still would be both be distant seconds.
Well, actually, are we counting Roman as a face
Alexa,
or as a heel? Alexa going wild.
Yeah. Roman is Roman.
Roman is a face. He's a face. He's
So
he's on the face line when they book him.
He was a face till he told me his voting record this week, Chris.
Right.
Yeah.
And nobody asked for it. He just did it.
Right,
On his
ain't it?
own.
You just divulged that, player.
Yeah,
Unsolicited.
That was my first Substack article to go viral. Is when I went in on that fool. So thank you. Yeah.
Between him and Shannon Sharp, just all the unsolicited
I know,
information.
Mm.
I could have went the rest of my life not knowing about.
I'm ready to leave the chat.
Yeah. Like I could have went my whole life without knowing about his
Right.
slave cosplay.
Yeet me out of here.
Yeah.
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 that's wild.
Yeah.
What is
Big
happening?
wow.
You know what? You know it's bad when me and Dr. Umar on the same page now. I'm like,
Yeah.
15 lashes.
15 lashes, brother. But actually, no, because you might like that. That you're into that.
No.
Oh
No.
no.
I'm done.
I know, right?
No, wow.
Come on, Unc.
We can't have that.
No.
Before we
I
leave the
think-
topic. Oh,
Oh, go
no,
ahead.
Maria, please go ahead.
No. I didn't have much to say.
No, say we still want to promote that voice, so go ahead, say that.
Okay. Everybody be quiet. She talking. No. I think John Cena kind of left the door open on Raw when he was talking about somebody that has like ruthless aggression, kind of full circle moment, came back to like when he first got in the ring against Kurt Angle. So I'm hoping that it'll open the door for someone who's newer to sort of drop the belt to ultimately, like you said, Survivor Series maybe down the line. I like the idea of him dropping it to someone who's not like him. Like I like that full circle moment of like he went from being this rando dude to like the face of the company overnight. And I like him doing that with somebody else. And I think he'll drop the belt because he's just kind of, a company guy, and he's kind of followed the path that was set before him. You know what I mean?
And
where I feel like
got
there
a
are some
foot out the
people.
door too, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He
Listen, he's on his way to the next hair surgery. Like
Right,
he's not
yeah.
thinking about nothing else.
Yeah.
He's gonna get that hairline together,
WWE is
and he gone.
yeah.
You say, let me talk to LeBron real quick and get his people. Let me his
Yeah,
people,
that
holler at my
Beijing.
people.
Beijing.
And we gonna get it right. We gonna get it right, get it tight.
The Beijing.
So, but before we get off the John Cena subject, are there any? I know we saw what the main event looked like. I know it probably didn't jazz anybody's Zatarans up like that. So how about we do it like this? If John Cena can deliver some better matches than what we saw in the main event, who's one person, doesn't have to be the person who beats him, but you would like to see him face down the line? We already got Randy locked in for Backlash. So who else would you like to see come down the line and face Cena?
It's not going to happen, but Maria kind of put the idea in my head about a young up and comer, and you could argue it's way too early for this cat to get a spot, but you could have said the same thing about John Cena going in the ring against Angle back in the day. Honestly, I've always been a fan. Well, I can't say always because he ain't been here but for a cup of coffee. But since he's been on NXT, I've been a fan of this dude, and like I went back and watched that Stand and Deliver match, and I'm like, yo, the young OG. He got something there, Javon Evans. Like, obviously it's not going to happen, but for Javon Evans to be in there with Cena, even in a loss, I think could elevate him.
Yeah.
I love that as an option. I love that.
Yeah, I think you could feed anybody to Cena at this point, because I mean the draw is it's Cena's last match, so you can be experimental with it. I don't think Javon Evans, I don't think any of those like lower card guys are a bad idea, you know, if they could get something out of it.
Okay, hey, how about, well, do you have anybody specifically, Chris, you want to name and nominate?
No, I don't know, man, because everybody there is just kind of like spinning their wheels. I mean, shoot, I if I was gonna name somebody, it wouldn't be an NXT guy. It would probably be like I'd probably do it with LA Knight. He's 40, but I mean, he could benefit.
He's a man. He's 40.
Yeah, he could benefit from a feud with Cena, you know, and probably eventually go for the Intercontinental World title eventually.
I like that. I like that.
That match would be mad slow though. Not hating.
Yeah.
Just
Ooh.
Yeah, it
But
would be.
it's in the promo work, I think.
yes, the
Yeah,
promos would be excellent.
That's what you're getting out of it. You know, it's not like you won't be getting a good match, man. Because John Cena's phoning it in anyway, man. He is not into this shit at all. I'm glad that he's showing up and putting a smile on his face when he does it, but I don't think he's been into anything except for that heel turn, and everything else. I think he's been phoning it in. Just
So you saying John Cena's matches currently in terms of work rate is like when we was kids and your mama would send you to the store to get some bread or some milk or something, and she'd give you like $3, and you're like, that ain't enough, mama. And she'd be like, make it enough.
Make it enough.
Like John Cena, your ring work ain't enough, dog. Hey, make it enough.
Work them camera angles.
Right.
Get Travis out here. Get Travis Scott out
All
here.
the smoke
Have
and
him
mirrors.
take his time.
Right.
All that.
Yeah, he's like, you're lucky you even have me for this. It's his attitude.
Should be honored by my lateness.
Yeah.
That's
No, but
Maria's life motto.
Yeah.
How did I catch a stray? How did I catch a stray?
You
I'm
should be honored by my
scared.
lateness that I would even show up to this fake shit.
Yeah. Cena's like, I could have been doing 3 Judd Apatow movies in a row, and I'm over here.
And a
doing
car
this.
commercial. Because he's
And a
ripping
car
out
Yo, he all over these car commercials.
Toyota
Yeah.
Tundra. Listen.
Yeah.
Like, do y'all know this man is a heel now?
Yeah, and a hefty trash bag commercial too.
Listen,
Doing all that.
but I love the idea because they could easily play off of their tag team match they had with the Bloodline of like Cena saying, I put you on and you was siphoning yourself off of me, trying to siphon my energy off of me. Nah, I want my energy back. Cena could either challenge that. LA could want the belt, had that good energy between them, had the promo working. Yeah, we'll have a quick sand match and they'll nice and slow, but we will enjoy it nonetheless. But how about you, upper card, mid upper card, Jey Lacey?
I'm just going for the silliness, man. I would love to see him face R-Truth, his
Oh,
his
wow.
ultimate fan.
Wow, his childhood hero.
No.
I would love to see that. I would love to see another. I would love to see Cena avenge the loss to Austin Theory.
Okay.
I mean, think
Yeah,
about
I
it.
do.
In canon.
I definitely want to see that, man.
Because think about it, in
shouldn't have
canon,
happened in the first place. But
yeah, that should have never happened.
Yeah,
and
now that it's
if Austin
happened.
Theory can beat John Cena and Cody Rhodes can't, you're telling me Cody's worse than Austin? That don't make no sense.
There's something the world is off its axis because of that, man. There's something not right with the universe because Cody's over here losing to Cena at WrestleMania and Austin Theory's over here beating him. What the fuck is the world coming to?
I didn't even think about that. And I was there for
I would
both
love
of
to
those
see
lives.
that. Yeah, you know, and make it a squash match. You know, make it less than a minute. You know, just to show that Cena's not playing. He ain't here playing games. You know, so I would love to see that. You know, happen. But other than that, I can't think of anybody better than LA Knight. I mean, everything that you were explaining, you know, makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Other than that, give me that Austin Theory run back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't even really like the idea of him feuding with Randy Orton just because I've seen that match a zillion times. I know the roles are reversed this time, but I mean, even when the roles were reversed, Cena was the one getting booed, and Orton was the one getting cheered a lot of the time. So I don't really know, like, what's that different about it, man. I mean, I guess it's like if this is something that Cena wants, he's earned enough cachet to get it. But I mean, I don't really think this feud is necessary. You could do so many different things with John Cena right now. This is the time to get creative with it. With him, I mean, you know.
It makes sense from the standpoint, though, Chris. Like, because I do believe this is something Cena wants. Like, hey, I got to go one last time with my mans. So it's like, if you're gonna do it because you have to do it because John wants to do it, why not do it in St. Louis where you can get the most bang for your buck with Randy's hometown?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it makes sense because they're doing it in St. Louis. Cena and Randy Orton are friends. They've been friends since the OVW days. And it makes sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I like that. Maria, how about yourself? Who are you thinking?
Who am I thinking? I couldn't give you a name if you put a gun to my head right now. I really couldn't. I think what's more important is like making sure the details of the matches are not like sloppy like this. We got to get better around this stuff. Like, come on. We've only been doing this for what, 50 years? Like, come on, bro. Like, we got to get these details down. I mean, it's not like, and if it's truly the end of the John Cena era, which money talks. So, I'm sorry. I'm always suspicious because I remember a time when Hogan was on WWE, and then on Tuesday he was on Nitro. He was on Nitro on Monday. So you know what I mean? Like, so I don't believe nothing now one of y'all have to say about it. But if this is truly the end, like, can we tighten up on these details and quit playing around? Like, seriously, where is everybody? Where's the writers? Who? Make it make sense.
It's like this whole thing has been lazy, man. Ever since the initial heel turn, which I thought was perfect, now it's just gotten lazy. They don't want to change his music. They don't want to like make him all they do is make him angry when he comes down to the ring. His shit isn't really compelling anymore. It's not. It's like the match with Cody Rhodes, because the wrong actors were not cast right. It was so much that wasn't right with this thing. And now they're doing this. Now they're trying to freshen up a old ass feud, and they got to add layers to this, So this is a month that you're going to be using to not build anybody new up from this thing, I mean, they're getting more out of that triple threat match from night one than they're getting from night two, to be honest.
Yeah.
I say you have the Seth and Roman match out of that. You have the Punk and Roman. You have another rematch with Seth and Punk, but with a more compelling dynamic now that Paul Heyman is now intertwined in that.
And you're wondering who's going to be the next guy that's going to join them too.
Yep.
Right.
And
there's so many more routes to go down.
Yeah.
Where it felt like John's match was so closed.
Yeah. And it made Cody look like an idiot.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
Because here's the thing, Brent Chittenden, you know me, I'm a law-abiding citizen, man.
Of course you are.
But what's the worst thing, Girard? What's the worst thing, Jay, that could have happened if Cody had hit Cena with the belt? Oh, the referee saw that I get disqualified. I get to go home with my belt and my biracial baby and my beautiful wife, Brandy, who's got a black belt, and I ain't got to worry about this. Like, he's not losing the belt on a DQ. So it's like, and we just saw you beat the brakes off of Kevin Owens last month, so we know you got some dog in you, Cody.
Yeah, like Cody Rhodes the way that went down was so stupid. He got his ass beat by John Cena, a skinny ass rapper. I mean, it wasn't even a rapper that you know. Like, if you're John Cena, you could beat his ass. It wasn't even like a rapper like LL Cool J or 50 Cent or somebody with some muscle.
It wasn't Bone Crusher.
Yeah,
it wasn't Busta Rhymes.
It wasn't anybody that was big, and you got your ass beat and embarrassed. You got bloodied up, and you are having second thoughts about hitting this fucker with a belt. Seriously, my dude, like what that's not, like, that's just chump shit. That's like a certified dweeb. Like,
and if I'm not mistaken, the ref was out too. So
yeah, it's like, God, like, man, this is,
yeah,
you be over here like feeling sorry for this motherfucker that beat your ass in front of everybody. Your wife was there. Your child.
You're still my hero.
I mean, it was Easter Sunday, Chris. It was forgiveness.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Nah, not in the main event. And to me, you want to do it the honest and right way, drop the belt and hit your finish. Just do that.
Yeah.
Like, stop looking stupid. Like, you've been hitting moves the whole match. If you don't want to use a weapon, cool. You don't have to. What a concept. Just drop it and hit something. A crossroads. Hit all three of them if you need to. Do something.
Agreed.
You're talking about you got to save WWE from John Cena. You need to keep the belt away and keep the future. Well, hey, you dropped the future by just looking at him like a goof ass. Like, come on, man. Like, what is that?
Can I say that? Can I say one thing, Girard? Because that was something that ticked me off about WrestleMania. Okay, I'm all in for these wrestling storylines, man. Like I said, we know it ain't Breaking Bad. We know, it's not grand cinema, but we here for the fun. How you gonna give me 3 stories? Not 1, not 2, but 3 stories in the midst of 2 nights where the future of wrestling is on the line? Because that was the storyline in the triple threat match of night 1. That was the storyline for Logan Paul and AJ Styles. Like, if Logan Paul wins, somehow wrestling has been set back 25 years. And then in the main event, if John Cena wins, wrestling will be ruined forever. Like, how fragile is this wrestling if it can be, the fate of the whole industry can be turned on one or 2 matches, man? Come on, WWE. Come on, Paul.
I get each concept of when they use it, but I do agree. You can't have it.
Spread it out.
Yeah,
you can't have it on multiple shows. Let's have some quality control. But sounds like you was about to say something, Jay.
Yeah. Nate just jogged my memory on something. So going back to that Logan Paul, AJ Styles match, did you guys see the interview that Karrion Kross did with Sam Roberts? And I can't remember the other lady's name, but he gave an interview after WrestleMania, and he just shot this crazy promo. Did you guys see that?
No,
but I've heard good things about it.
Yes, it was the best work Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, has done in a long time, and I hope that he's able to bring that same energy and bring that same fire that he had for that promo into the character work that he's doing right now, because he's creating something, and he had a great weekend as well too. So even though that match was like, I wasn't really feeling it, his work afterwards is like, okay, I would like to see more of that layer, unpeeled. That way we've seen something that we haven't seen before from him, at least in WWE.
So, but before we have one of our guests that have to depart, so we want to give her the space to not only promote herself, but say her goodbyes and her last remaining thoughts. So,
how you gonna show up late and leave early, Maria?
I'm sorry. Listen,
graceful exit.
Listen. I love y'all.
Is this ring carry or the cookout?
Here we go. Listen, I have to put my kid to bed. What do you want me to do? It's Blurred Girl Jedi on Instagram and BlueSky and everywhere else, and TikTok. I had a blast. You guys are amazing. If you're listening or watching this, you can still catch Sisters with Sabers if you want to laugh about Star Wars nonsense and listen to a bunch of Black women talk about Star Wars. Yeah, this was a lot of fun though, but hit me up the next time. I'd love to do it again.
All right, thanks, Maria. Appreciate you.
We got you, Maria. You part of the family now.
Oh,
You've been part of the family, but you just showed up now. You've been at the Black people meetings with Dwayne all this other time.
Here we go. Jeez.
Later, fam.
Take care.
Have a good one. So, and jumping into the next topic then, brothers. How do we feel about this Tiffany Stratton defending the belt against Charlotte Flair? Oh, whoa. You said, let me get the toilet paper out. One ply.
That I like, to be honest, I was looking forward to that match. I like both of them, but I don't know what happened. Whether they just never had any chemistry, or if it really seemed like it fell apart like a couple minutes in. They were like it felt like, I couldn't tell you who, but it felt like one of them was almost like 2 minutes behind the other. Where like moves were being like, just like they were getting caught. Like there's no obvious botches per se, or well, there one or two, but like it really felt like, oh yeah, this is what we're supposed to do, and then they do it. Like there was a bunch of really telegraphed stuff in there, and it just like that. If I had to pick the worst match of both shows, unfortunately, that would be it.
If Uncle Dave, Dave Meltzer, I read the Wrestling Observer. If all the shit that he said happened this weekend happened, it's WWE's fault that match was garbage, man. Because they had that. I don't know if you heard about the roast with was it Jesselneck? No, it was Hinchcliffe.
It was Tony Hinchcliffe.
He was Tony Hinchcliffe. Yeah, he was the roast master, he was getting roasted or whatever. He was conducting a roast. They didn't have the cameras there, but then that's not an uncommon thing at these comedy shows. But like from all the drama and stuff that they said happened, and that was after night 1, wasn't it, or was it after night 2?
I don't know.
I think they said it was after night 1.
I think the roast was after night 1 because Hinchcliffe, they showed Hinchcliffe in night 1 in the crowd.
Yeah. So I mean, that was
according to Ray, it was night 2.
Okay,
Ray
right.
It was night 2. All right, cool. He also got Charlotte's number of marriages wrong, so we have to double check our fact checker.
Ooh, Ray?
Yeah.
Damn, he's gonna put Ray on Front Street like that. It's fake news, Ray Williams. It's not real facts.
Girard was there. He should know that.
I think
anyway, Ray, show him some love. You know, we can't just keep throwing strays at the man in the back. Appreciate you, Ray.
I think that match was it was easily one of the worst matches on either night of WrestleMania. And I think part of the reason is you had a story going in, Girard and Jay, and we talked about this on the NWA podcast. The only heat that entire build had was the promo segment 2 weeks before WrestleMania where the shit went off the rails. Yeah. And Tiffany's bringing up Charlotte's failed marriages, and Charlotte's bringing Lou Vic Kaiser being in her DMs up. And so it's like, that to me is like when people were like, oh, this is interesting. And it was for the wrong reasons. And so you never gave us a real reason to cheer for Tiffany or to boo Charlotte. And so you've got, in my opinion, Brent, like, yes, 2 talented wrestlers, obviously. But in terms of the characters, neither one of these characters are likable. And so it just kind of, the match was underwhelming compared to their 2 talents, and the story wasn't there to support it. Like if the match was what it was and we had a compelling story, I think it would have been okay, but you didn't have the match or the story, and so it just kind of fell flat for me.
And even like aesthetically, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, you know, you're not going to change one of their hair colors that drastically. So, but at the same time, like their gear was really similar too. So you have 2 blonde white women in very similar gear wrestling. Like it just like, if anything said kind of like, we didn't think like this all through, that match is one of them. It just really felt like it'll work itself out, and it didn't.
Right, yeah. They wasted a Royal Rumble win for Charlotte. They could have given that spot to anybody else. And it was just worthless.
You tried to laugh me off the NWA podcast, Chris, but I told you, man, Nia and Tiffany would have been a much better match, dog.
I didn't laugh you off. I thought you were bootlicking, but I didn't say that you were. I didn't say that it was a bad idea. I didn't say Tiffany was better than Nia. I didn't care about either one of them. Shoot, like I mean, I think Nia could have bought some more interest in it because I don't think that there's like. Nia wasn't coming into this match with real life drama that was being put on display for the world to see. I don't care what anybody says. Charlotte shouldn't have been put in that position. That was not cool. It was
Look at Petty Ray Williams trying to clear his name.
What'd he say?
Beating the allegation.
Trying to verify the statement that the roast was on night 2 after night 2 of WrestleMania.
Okay.
I would like the record to show that I was on Ray's side of things.
I was on.
He got receipts.
I was clowning. I knew you were telling the truth.
But no, with all that actual personal drama and whatnot, yeah, it made for this, you could say, gritty match, but it felt sloppy. It didn't feel fully put together. And by the end of it, it may look like she was in a real fight by the end of it.
Right. Yeah. The personal stuff only works if the people that are involved with the personal stuff don't mind it being on television, right? If they can kind of dust their hands and be like, look, I hate you, you hate me, but we want to make this money, you know? Like, that's what happened with Edge and Matt Hardy after a while, you know? It became compelling because, one, Matt Hardy wanted his job back because he got fired. So he was like, okay, if this is the shit I got to do to get my job back, I'll do it. And him and Edge had decent matches until one of them got moved to SmackDown or Raw, whatever. But you have to be into that stuff. You can't just put somebody be like, yo, we want to put your whole personal life on display, your failed marriages, your, you know, not wanting to be like your father and stuff. That's some pretty, like, personal, like, deep cuts, you know? I wouldn't want that shit on TV, just me personally. Yeah.
Going
I
back
think it's hard to say. Oh, my apologies, Jay. Go ahead,
I'm
man.
stepping all over you, man. So
no, Jay, go ahead, man.
Going back to what Brent was saying, you know, as far as the match, I had secondhand embarrassment for both of them. You know, it was like cringy to watch because it was sloppy. They both have long blonde hair, and it was everywhere. It was distracting. I mean, their ring gear was very similar, and I really didn't get emotionally involved in the match. Like, I didn't feel anything until like maybe 3 minutes before Charlotte took the pin, where her knee brace, I mean, she was still on her knee, and the knee brace dented, right?
Right.
I was, her knee is really, really hurt. Okay, now I'm emotionally involved. Like, man, I hope she's not hurt again, because you don't want anybody to get hurt, you know, at the end of the day. But at the same time, it's like, this is a bad outing for both of them. I felt bad for them, you know. So, just wasn't feeling out.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Jarek, except I had firsthand embarrassment for both of them, man. I felt like I was a part of that embarrassment.
Like you could have stopped it. Like you should have stopped it.
I was like, what could I have done to change the course of this, man?
Product placement. Chris jumps in the ring and like, lady, have a Snickers, both of you. I saw too many of those fucking ads on Tucker show.
Well, we something I think that needs to be acknowledged about Charlotte is the fact that she has grown up in front of the camera and has been Ric Flair's daughter, and it's hard to try to escape that light. on and off the camera. And I think the ability to say no as well in the pro wrestling industry is very hard when it costs you
Yeah.
your spot. It costs you anything, especially when the younger model's right there and that's your competition. So yeah, I'm not gonna say no when my baby brother's name is going to be put out there in a feud against
Yeah,
Paige,
yeah.
and my personal feelings about that are being kind of put on live television for a feud over a belt. I'm not doing this, or we're doing this now with my marriage, whether it was warranted or approved or not prior to. But now my marriage and my personal life is being dragged out, and these fans, even prior to that, are not accepting of me, even though I've been fighting hard to get back for them, and they only see the negative of me and everybody else's narrative of me. But
Right,
I
yeah.
think Charlotte is struggling to get her narrative out to the fans and then build that actual personal connection, because like Cody has that narrative with the fans. He's built that connection. People feel something with Cody. People feel something with Jey. People were moved by Jey. MC means move the crowd. But how does Charlotte move the crowd? How can she get to that point where she can then move the crowd the way she needs to? Whether it's heel or face. And how can she then be personally good with that as herself? Like, how do you all see the character of Charlotte Flair on air being rebuilt from this point forward, from this loss?
Ironically enough, Girard, I think because she's always been a better heel. She's always been a natural heel than babyface. But there was a period, when she was coming out of NXT where there was a period where like you'd see these young girls that really looked up to Charlotte, and there was a connection there. And so I feel like the answer to how can she be a more effective, relatable, connectable heel or babyface is the same answer. You just have to take, like, it's the old wrestling adage. It's just you turned up to 11. And so I feel like she has to, because her character right now is above the crowd, right? Like that first promo on Raw when she came back and they just booing the hell out this lady. And she's sitting there in the little yellow jumpsuit, just like, I don't care. Even though we know you do care. It's like that episode of The Simpsons, Chris. I know you remember one of the best episodes of The Simpsons ever, when Mr. Burns got the softball team together and put all the major leaguers on the softball team.
Yeah.
And Lisa and Bart is Lisa and Bart is in the stands heckling Daryl Strawberry, and Marge is like, "Hey, leave that man alone." And they like, "Nah, he's a professional. He don't care." And you see that little tear come out of Daryl Strawberry's eye, because we're all human at the end of the day. And so I feel like Charlotte, like her ring work, this match aside, is like, you can't knock it.
Yep.
But I feel like the character has to be honest with us, right? Like, not Ashley. I'm not saying Ashley got like she was on the Sherry Shepherd show, has to be that honest, but the character of Charlotte Flair has to be honest and like acknowledge, like, hey, I hear you. Like, and I feel like if she cuts a promo, because the crowd's gonna be on her ass from the beginning of the promo, but she has to acknowledge that and not be above it. Acknowledge that, feed and lean into it.
Yeah.
And just talk about, like, from a babyface side, like what that means, or from a heel side, what that means. Because I think the crazy thing is, Chris, if she goes the heel route and leans into it, and this is how I feel, this is what I'm going through, this is what my character, like the evolution of this character, I feel like eventually that's the easiest way to get to a babyface Charlotte. If we get a heel Charlotte we can believe in, then when the turn happens, we can believe in that more easily.
Right, and she's also going through that same thing that Roman Reigns went through, same thing John Cena went through, where she's being force fed, and like a lot of the fans like just don't like it. It's just gotten to a point where it's like, okay, now you're getting the kind of heat where we want you to go away. And the difference between her and John Cena is John Cena, the excuse with him was always he had the little kids, and he was moving merch with the kids. I don't know what I have to look at what Thurston sent me in my Gmail, but I don't know what she's doing as far as merch is concerned. But she's put in a situation that I don't even think she's necessarily lobbied to be in, but because she's in this position, and she doesn't know how to handle it the best way, it is taking its toll. Even at that roast, when you hear what happened there and how, I mean, she might just need a detox from that whole atmosphere for a little while, because, and then come back with something fresh or go to another company, because I mean, it's her disdain is written all over her face, and she's wearing it on her sleeve, and I got for it because of that.
So I'm kind of the exact opposite range from you guys.
Okay.
I kind of feel that she should take what was said and almost embrace it as part of her character now. Like mention, you know what? I've tried so long to not be my dad, but you know what my dad was? He was a multi-time champion.
Okay.
You know what? His marriages failed. He wasn't good with his kids, all to be the best, and that's what I should do. And to boot, she needs an Arn.
I don't mind her.
You know more than anything else, she needs backup now.
Brent, you are stealing my thunder.
Doing it, though.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah, but the only thing I say about it is she has to be comfortable doing it, man. And
well, yeah, no.
She's clearly not comfortable doing this shit, man. So something's got to happen. Because I'm with you, Brent. I would be like, okay, let's embrace it, but she doesn't want to embrace that shit, man. That shit cuts with her, man. I don't know what she went through with Nature Boy, her daddy, but there's some unresolved shit there. And that's all I'll say. I don't want to get too deep in the woods with this, but
yeah, part of me feels like not like real life, but like, you know, her promo life. If she does that, then we move on. Like she acknowledges it, accepts that, like, you know, like this. I'm going down the dark side route now. Fuck y'all, and then we don't have to bring it up again. Like she has acknowledged this is why I'm doing this. I am doing this to be the best, and screw you guys.
Brent, you are cooking, or you are reading my mind, because as soon as that question was asked, I was like, you know what? Maybe she needs the Paul Heyman rub, because Paul Heyman would be able to spin everything that you just regurgitated right there and say, look, embrace that you are a Flair. You are the second generation. You can be the female version of what your dad was in terms of championships, in terms of being a legend. Embrace that, you know. And if she, you know, she had somebody as her mouthpiece to basically voice that, even though she may not be able to or may not want to, if she can have somebody like a Heyman to articulate that to the crowd and embody that. I think we got something. Brent, whatever you doing, man, you got your chef hat on, bro. You cooking.
Thank you, good sir. I really, they need to. There was always that idea or that rumor and talk that there was going to be, like, at some point she was going to lead a female Four Horsemen. And I feel that would be a perfect spot for her right now. I don't know who the other three girls are. It's who do you get to be her Arn? It's got to be somebody good, somebody like on the mic, and somebody solid in the ring.
Heel Becky
wouldn't be bad.
Jordan Grace.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Ooh,
come on. Yeah, I could. That could go, but it as like a group to back her up, and then you're also kind of resetting her character and a bunch of other characters at the same time.
I'm not mad at that.
Okay, I'm not mad at it.
Okay. Let's stay here for a second, because I'm thinking, okay, y'all can give your answers, but if we're doing heel Four Horsewomen, Charlotte, I'm going Charlotte, Becky, and then for my tag, I'm going Julia and Jordan.
Ooh.
I see the wheels in Girard's head spinning. He like, I don't know, Unc.
I'ma go. Oof. I don't know if this tag team would actually work because they're feuding now, but I would love to see them be a bar style tag team if we're going to use them in the Four Horsewomen. And it's gonna be two random names, but I want all people who have that kind of they can speak for themselves on the mic in a strong way. So I'm going Jordan Grace and Jada Parker as a tag team.
Ooh.
Because I think Jordan Grace still rocks in that role, but I think Jada Parker being amongst a clique like that, she has her group right now on NXT that she kind of floats around with, but promote her up with that clique. I think that would kind of be cool to see. And then, you know, I do like Julia. It's the international flair of if you will. I'm just gonna stop with the international flair. I ain't mean to trip upon that, but hey, I'm gonna just stop with the international flair. So, but no, I like that as an idea, so I'd rock with that. How about other folks? Any other contenders for the 4?
Gentlemen, you want to go or you want me to drop it? Because I got a little bit.
Go ahead, drop it.
Nate, I'm disappointed you didn't pick Nia Jax, bro.
You know, I didn't want Chris to throw those allegations at me again.
But I could see Charlotte Flair. I would like to see a Nia Jax. I would like to see, and this is just my personal favorite, a Dakota Kai.
Okay.
And if she was a tag with somebody, probably what is her name? Oh gosh, let me see her. A Kaden Carter.
Oh, okay.
Kaden Carter in Dakota Kai in the tag team role would be a little different. You know what I mean? Non-traditional. You know.
Yeah, I like that. So I'm gonna keep it a buck with all y'all. I don't think that's the road for Charlotte. I think Charlotte needs to get away from it. I think she needs to once again just start from the bottom, almost Spartacus it, if you will, from the Flair lineage and back in the day. But I would have her do a couple of interview segments. I would have her also then face Tiffany one more time, and I would love to then steal an idea from TNA. I don't want it to be just a year though, because I don't think a year is enough. I don't know why. I don't know how I want to get there. Maybe she loses this match, Charlotte does, and she's now barred from challenging for a world title.
Okay.
A la AJ Styles in TNA. Or up to a certain period of time. Then that allows the WWE universe to build a relationship with her, as now she has to basically start from the bottom. She can be a tag champ with somebody if she wants to. Where's Shotzi at? She had, to me, one of the most likable moments I've ever seen Charlotte was with that little conversations and the promos backstage. I didn't fully believe the relationship because of the sheer fact that, like, where y'all two? Do y'all even shop down the same aisle? I'm not trying to be insulting. Like, y'all, everybody can like everything, but like, y'all, I ain't never seen y'all two before be around each other. But okay, Shotzi and Charlotte had that little tag team, have a little group, build her up there, have her go. Once again, I'm gonna keep touting it. Ric Flair was not just a world champion. The man held the U.S. title multiple times as well. Have her go after the U.S. title. Have her build some prestige with that. Have her have some great matches with heels and up-and-coming baby faces. Have her feud with the Jada Parkers, the Jordan Graces over those belts and whatnot. Having that almost Cena U.S. title run with that. Because we then started to love Cena more and more by the end of it. Even though we hated John Cena for beating everybody. Somehow a U.S. title reign where he beat a ton of indie people that we loved made us love John more. Isn't that kind of wild? But we can still use that to try to love Charlotte a little bit more and build an actual relationship with her instead of her just jumping for the world title. That's not, it's like cutting out a part of the Flair story that I can't even fill in because I don't know all the beginning parts, but I do think her role to building that crowd relationship for things getting better is for her to be a baby face and go the honest, earnest way. She has to do something else besides doing this hot chick, I rule the world and I'm the queen, because it's not connected.
No.
And clearly the heel route is not connecting with her personally. And if that's not in your soul for the character, you got to feel the character. And so if you want to be a baby face, we got to actually make you a baby face, not fireworks coming out at the Rumble. Have an honest return. We could have had the fireworks on Raw or something prior to, but
like Girard just said, everything feel. Like you gotta feel what you're doing, and I just until she does that, she's just gonna be spinning her wheels in that company, and not because I don't think she feels anything, and it's apparent to everyone.
So, any last thoughts on the Charlotte Flair case? Because I want to move on before we wrap up the show. Because I definitely want to give that triple threat just a little more time. Because though I love that match, I'm a little pissy that that's how we ended Bianca Belair's undefeated streak.
Yeah.
So, because that's really what I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about that.
Let's go.
So
yeah. Who wants to go first?
go ahead, Chris. Rock with it, man.
Yeah. See, this is my problem. I don't necessarily mind that Io won that triple threat match. The problem with it is WWE does this all the time. They will have they'll make a decision and then they'll regret the decision and then go back to what they should have did in the first place. They did that with Roman Reigns and Undertaker because he really should have been the person in his streak. History teaches us that. And then they go and do the match when it really doesn't mean as much as it would have meant the first time. They did that with Edge and Undertaker when Edge had an undefeated streak and Undertaker had an undefeated streak. And then they had Edge lose that stupid ladder match, and Mr. Kennedy, of all people, won it. And it's like, and then they end up doing the Edge Undertaker match at the next year's WrestleMania, and they tried to backdoor their way into saying, like, Edge never got pinned at WrestleMania. Like, that's not the... If he didn't lose in the first place, you could actually, like, go somewhere with this. And I'm afraid they're gonna try to do the same thing with Bianca. It was a bad decision from that standpoint, but it doesn't have to be if they give Io a serious push. And I don't know, man. I hope, and I've gone back and forth with this for the last why am I saying Io? Dakota Kai. I've gone back and forth with this for the last week since WrestleMania, and I'm just not sure that it doesn't, because even in the match, it really did seem like Rhea and Bianca were kind of like fighting the whole time, and the way what's her name won it was like by kind of luck, you know, that these two hated each other so much.
Nope. DJ heard him again. He's like, "You gonna stop talking shit about my triple threat?" I booked that. You cut out at the end, Chris.
That is the worst still frame for Chris.
We are having a triple threat with this.
But there's still time to rectify it.
There you go. You was having a triple threat match with your Wi-Fi, Chris.
Yeah, that triple threat with the Wi-Fi is serious. It's the bedroom. If I go to the normal room, it'd be fine. But
no, I hope that we are on the path to a great character shift with Bianca. Because if we're going to have the streak be broken, let's make it a literary success because of that. And so let's take the opportunity to maybe shift her character towards the heel route. Because she I mean, sadly, this is how heels are created, but she's been grieved multiple times.
Yeah.
Another sister that she's been friends with has been grieved multiple times as well, and so she could be joining up with her soon. So we could be looking at a future tag team match down the line. I'd still love to see that triple threat with Jade, Naomi, and Bianca together. And I hope that we can have a world title on the line in that match too, because those sisters deserve that spotlight, because they have been one of the most compelling WrestleMania builds that any match had this entire year. Like they were one of the most long-term booked out stories. Naomi and Jade, that is, but Bianca being intertwined with that, her having to overcome so much, not only her friends being beaten down and everything, but also aggrieved that it should have been a one-on-one match. And Rhea, white woman privileged her way into the match, signing contracts, not winning matches still after that, and still getting into the match nonetheless. And so, with that said, I'm curious to see if they do a Rhea and Bianca before Evolution, because it feels like it's their time to start to continue on feuding while EO clearly has a new field of folks to get intertwined with. And so, what do you all think is the direction for Rhea and Bianca moving forward now?
Ooh.
I think they're going to tease it over, like they're just going to give us little bits and pieces here and there. I think in the immediate, as we saw on Raw, you know, I think they gave us a red herring when we saw Roxanne Perez and Julia come out and interrupt the Stephanie McCoy EO match. And everybody's like, okay, we're going to get, you know, Julia versus Rhea or Julia versus Roxanne eventually, or Roxanne versus Rhea and Rhea versus Julia. I think the way it looked to me, you know, maybe just because I've been playing a lot of NCAA football on the PlayStation, man. And part of your plan of success is recruiting. I didn't say recruiting, Jay. I said recruiting. You got to be out there. ABC, always be recruiting. And I feel like Rhea with Roxanne and Julia is something that I would be very interested in seeing. I think Roxanne is somebody, man, who I wish they would get more behind. Like, yeah, she's got a little spotlight, man, but for a while she was just kind of going back and forth between NXT and the main roster. And I think Roxanne has all the goods, and we know what Julia's about, man. And she got the international flair, as Girard said. So I think we're gonna get bits and pieces of Bianca Rhea, but I think that's like a Mania match in and of itself. So I think maybe we may get a tag or something at Evolution involving those two, but I don't think we get the full one-on-one with all the bells and whistles until next year's Mania. At least that's what I built to.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I hope it's that way.
Like that.
Yeah.
So are we sending EO on this star projection to try to grow her as a bigger brand? Because do you feel like she was grown from that? And also, do we think we can get a Roxanne up there with her to the same level as a Rhea through that feud that Nate was mentioning? Do we think all these players could agreeably rise for a bigger match come next year? I'm sorry, not a multi-person match. I know. I don't.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I could see EO next year. Like, I don't want to say it.
Don't
but
say
you remember
it,
how King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 2, this is before y'all's time, but at WrestleMania 2, King Kong Bundy fought Hulk Hogan in the main event. And then the next year he was fighting. The next year he was fighting little people in the opening card of the show. I see that for EO. I hope that's not. I hope that doesn't happen. But I just the way the match went, it didn't say to me she's getting built. You know, it said this is what we needed for tonight.
Well, let me challenge that.
People, I hope
is it
you're
the
wrong
match?
You
don't have to.
Yeah.
It doesn't even be challenged. You can say I'm wrong. I take being wrong. I don't
hit you with that Sandman Sims challenge.
Yeah, you can take the hook. I'm saying from my vantage point, this is just what I see, and I don't want to see it though.
I don't want to see that either. I mean, I would love to see her as an international main character. The win came off flukish, but giving her a whole new crop of challengers is what's needed. You know, showcasing a Stephanie McCoy and then giving us a glimpse of a Julia or a Roxanne. all these different possibilities to keep Rhea away from the belt, or at least from title contention for a while, is much needed. Keeping Bianca away, I don't know how they do that unless they, bring back the storyline with Naomi and Jade, and somehow, having that story being told keeps Bianca away from the title for a while as well. So I would love to see Io challenged by different characters. So whether she drops the belt or whether she keeps it, that's another story. But it builds her resume as being a viable champion, in my opinion. And come
Jared,
WrestleMania next year, I don't know if she's. I don't think she'll have the title. Honestly, I think she'll drop it at some point. But I hope, to your point, she doesn't go back to a second caliber type of superstar.
Yeah, and to give some credence to what you said, Jarek, Bret Hart's WrestleMania 10 win against Yokozuna came off very flukish as well. But at the end of the match, they got behind him. Like, Vince McMahon got off a headset and he was like declared the king of WWE. And things went well for Bret Hart. So it could happen like that too, So you always got to look at both sides of the coin.
Got you.
I think
go ahead, Nate.
I was just going to say real quick, Girard, because I think this is something you and I talked about on the NWA podcast, the star of it all with Io Sky. Because there's no disputing her talent in the ring, right? There's no disputing how brilliant she is as a performer. My question was always, does this company know what to do with her? And it's not anything that she has done wrong. It's just we've seen their track record, man, with these, let's just say, non-traditional stars, right? Like we've seen it, like they fumbled the bag in a lot of aspects with people like Nakamura, with people like Asuka. And so, like, my contention is, if y'all couldn't do it for them, what track record do you have to make me believe you're going to do this for Io? But I think having her beat Bianca and Rhea, having her in Bianca's streak, and I did have people the other night when I did Rewind to Raw with John Pollock over at Post, when I brought up the streak, they're like, it wasn't that long. We don't even remember that streak. Like, I had to be reminded that she had a streak. And my thing is, the Undertaker streak wasn't a streak until it was.
Yeah, exactly.
He had a whole bunch of Giant Gonzalez's, a whole bunch of Kamalas, a whole bunch of fake Undertakers on that ring. Jimmy Snuka, like a whole bunch of just also ran kind of dudes until he became the Undertaker with the streak. It took him a minute. And I think they could have done the same thing with Bianca. But you give Io this moment. If you put Io in that position, to me, you have to do something with it. So, like, I don't want to see Rhea just immediately win the belt, because then that not only cheapens Io's moment, it cheapens what Bianca did. And so I hope, Girard, that I'm wrong on this one. I hope that they get behind her, like they put the machine behind her. She doesn't have to have the title from here until next year's WrestleMania, but at least put her in there with some new opponents, showcase what Io does best. Like, is she the best English speaker on the roster? No, because that's not her first language. Why don't you try speaking Japanese, Paul? But you can showcase her as a star. You can showcase her as an attract. Penta is one of the most over people on the roster, and English is not his first language. Like, if you have a talent that the audience connects with, it is your job as the promotion to find a way to market them, not their job to suddenly become this fluent English speaker just so I can, appear marketable to you and your closed views.
And you know what? To your point, Nate, I think that, I have hope for this. And it's bad to have hope, especially when you're in professional wrestling.
Don't set yourself up, brother.
Here's my hope, bro. WWE is now broadcasting worldwide, so they have a larger audience than just North America. So to have a non-traditional champion whose English is not their first language, you've seen her connect with the audience, even with her English. It may not be the best or whatever. She's still connecting. She's still getting a reaction from the audience, and it's even better when she starts speaking Japanese, because you can tell the passion in her voice. I hope the WWE takes note and capitalizes on that, because you've got a far bigger audience than just the US and Canada You've got a global audience watching what you're
Right.
doing with talent. And that also has for other talent that's in these different parts of the world that are wanting to become professional wrestlers.
Right.
Do they want to come to a company that's going to spotlight them because of their difference? So they've got some work cut out for them.
Right. Like I remember when I was a kid in the Sting would wrestle the great Muta. And like Muta was like just this like sight to behold because you never saw anything like him before. And he'd get a lot of cheers, even though he was the bad guy. If you go to those house shows, it's a shame that he never got the NWA World Title in America. At least I don't think he did. But he was always pushed to be a serious guy and a serious contender when he would come to the States and wrestle a guy like Sting or Ric Flair or something like that. And I just don't think that. And this isn't just a WWE problem. I don't even know if Tony Khan really knows how to do this. I think he's better at it than Triple H, but that ain't saying anything, you know. It's like I don't know if they know how to what they have with these Japanese stars. Or these just these Asian stars. Period, you know, because they do get the short end of the stick unless you're Samoan, you know, and then you'll be okay. But you know,
say, Brent, we haven't heard from you in a minute. Hey, I want to uplift your voice.
I'm just not sure, to be honest. This is one of those few ones where I don't completely know where I would take anybody. And so I think Nate's path seems the most likely, like in my head, but at the same time, the King Kong Bundy route of Chris is you had to say it, Chris, and then it's like, oh no, that could. Sad part is that could happen to any of them.
It happens all the time in that company too.
Yeah.
It's not just, you know.
Although so since I don't have much to say on this, I will leave everybody with like a useless bit of wrestle trivia because I was kind of curious. Io Sky, as of this recording, 34. King Kong Bundy in WrestleMania 2, 29.
Damn.
Sorry, 25. 25.
He had a lot of city miles, man.
Yes. So maybe she's already ahead of the King Kong Bundy.
Yo, we got faith in the girl. So
yeah, but the women's, it's weird that a lot of the women's division you see so much hope for, and like there's so many things you can do and stuff, and then there's other parts of it where like I don't know. Because the problem is I think us as fans, especially since like, you know, Triple H hasn't been fully in charge really that long, right? And we are just so conditioned from the Vince era that, you know, certain people and certain things aren't going to go well or aren't going to be just because of his like, even taking away the racism and everything else that we kind of know was sitting around in his head, alleged racism there, I can't get sued. Just his preferences for what he liked in wrestling in general, right? And they're like good chunks of the women just don't fall into that category. Nia Jax, honestly, if she wasn't the Rock's cousin,
there it is.
Probably, and I don't mean this like Nia's gotten a lot better, but just due to what we know Vince is like with women of like her personality and her size, she would, if she hadn't been related to The Rock, he would have made her do some she probably would have gotten a sequel to Natty's farting gimmick at some point.
Right.
You know, something like that. Like it's and that's not to take away from her. That's just what he was like.
What I will say about Triple H that I do think is a little bit better than Vince McMahon is when a Monster Hill in the Vince McMahon era, they would have a run. And then the trajectory for them is the villain decay, and then they would go down to the next person that was going to be on top. Yep. That's what it happened. You could trace this back to Andre the Giant when he was like on his way out. They had Earthquake beat his ass, and then Earthquake is the Monster Hill for that little while. And then when Earthquake is no longer the hot thing, they had Yokozuna beat his ass. And then when Yokozuna is no longer the hot thing, it's Vader that beats his ass. And it's like that's just how it went. Like now to say with Gunther, if this was the Vince McMahon era, that would probably be his trajectory. Because what happens with villains in that company all the time is you had this run, and then when the next hot thing would come behind, it would be like, okay, this is our monster now. This is the guy who we believe in. You are a goof now, you know? I mean, and they've done it with
shucking and jiving, dancing.
Yeah, they've done it with almost everybody. Like Undertaker didn't fall into that trap. Yeah. But they've done it with more people than they haven't done it with. Let's just
even Kane fell into it.
Yeah, Kane fell
even
into
Kane
it.
shucking and jiving at one point with a trombone in his hand, alongside Santino and everybody else.
Right.
Lest we forget. So nobody is saved from being a monster to being a shucking and jiving fool by the end of it.
To that point, maybe that's what I'm thinking something's missing in the women's division. Like, is there a monster right now that
that's right? I was like, more shucking and jiving. Oh, no, I thought I knew you.
No.
I thought I knew you, sir.
Brent with the heel turn over here.
Brent Cena.
Whoa.
The women's division needs a little bit more shucking and jiving, fellas. Don't you agree?
So where do I make my donation to the
you can donate to patreon.com/nefarious media, and we'll send the money to the NAACP.
Yeah, thank you. No, but back to my my point of like is there a woman who can fill that monster role right now? Like, is there I have to be fair, I haven't been following NXT like super close in the last little while. Is there anybody coming up that they can put in like that kind of spot, or do we have to go for putting somebody else like rebuilding Nia into more of a heel, like a monster, or Jordan Grace maybe? But I don't want her in that because that I feel that she'll get ruined.
Yeah, like I just don't. Yeah, I don't know because they've had monster eras with the women.
Yeah,
you know, it was like China was the one that beating all the women up in the past, and then it was what's her name? Like Victoria was kind of that for a little bit, and then I'm trying.
Karma had a cup of coffee.
I was gonna say we need a Kong.
Like Karma was there. And they've done it. It's just it hasn't lasted as long with the women. You know,
I want to leave y'all with something for a second to bite on. Do you think it's a size issue with the women? We always focus on size issue with the men.
It probably
but
is.
Now in this monster role.
They're real aesthetic with that. I think when Vince McMahon with the men, he had a clear role and a clear trajectory with those cats. It's like, okay, you're hot for now. And then you're gonna turn into a fucking clown. And I think with the women, I just think they handle that with more kid gloves, and they just don't really know what to do, especially now that things are more modernized and a little bit more progressive.
Part of that is the pipeline, though, because I think like when you look at Nia Jax, like Nia Jax is unique, and there are other women out there on the scene that could fill that role. Like I'm in particular in my head, I'm thinking of somebody like Ruby Reyes, who is Reina Del Rey in Wild Women of Wrestling. Like she kind of fits that mold, but you have to have those people coming in on the front end in order to get to that spot eventually. And I don't think, they're more focused on the athletes turned wrestlers now. And so you're not going to generally, unless they're like a shot putter or something, you're not going to get women with that build if that's not what they're doing. If they're gymnasts, if they're track athletes, if they're basketball players, like you're not going to get that. So like a modern day female monster outside of Nia in the WWE context, we're probably looking at somebody like Jade Cargill or Lash Legend in terms of they're just tall and athletic and muscular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be Jade or Lash Legend or someone like that.
I think that heel Jade, whenever we get that heel Jade Cargill run, that's gonna feed generations.
That's what Jade was in AEW. She was the monster woman in that company.
It's a good use for her in her current level too. Like she's getting better, but like having her do that sort of stuff really worked to her strengths.
And I think and that's always been my argument in favor of Jade. It's like, why are you having this woman go out there and have like these 10, 13, 15-minute matches? She should really just be out there destroying people.
I had to teach her how to wrestle, Chris. They didn't teach her how to wrestle in that other company.
That's stupid, man. That's always been dumb because, there's certain people in wrestling that just have it. I didn't need to see Sid Justice go out there and have a 15, 20-minute match. I need to see him destroy the geeks and move on, man. And every once in a while, he'll have to wrestle somebody like a Hulk Hogan or a Randy Savage or someone you take a little bit more seriously. But for the most part, his job was to go out there and destroy people, just like Goldberg, just like Ahmed Johnson, these kind of people. I don't know why you are overthinking Jade Cargill to this fucking degree.
I like that. And I like Jade being that future monster we can build around, because I think one thing that we struggle with sometimes in building those monsters up is believability. And one thing that I think Raquel Rodriguez's character suffered from, and I don't mean to just be shooting at people who are not here to be able to defend themselves, but the strong back gimmick was not cutting it for her when you are not being able to then in the ring display feats of strength that I'm watching Bianca pick up people and do stuff with. I'm watching Jordan Grace do those same things. I'm watching Jade do those things, but I'm not seeing you do those things. She's in a more believable role now with the way she's wrestling and the way they have her kind of like presented. And so I think that's improving her standing with the crowd and her and Liv together in that package. But I think we got to keep building believable monsters. And so you got to have that credibility. And Jade is somebody who is maybe less springboards, because she was doing some springboard stuff here and there. But if you look at the example like that powerbomb at WrestleMania, what a powerbomb. That was an amazing spot. So but to wrap up the WrestleMania discussion, anything else that from the weekend that you brothers would like to talk about?
Yeah, Chris, I got a question for you, brother. I've been holding this one all show long. So we know what happened to you that fateful day, Chris, when you, avid wrestling fan, a professor that teaches the next generation of minds, of intellectuals in this country, you decided to go check out AEW wrestling. And you went there with your mobility scooter. And your mobility scooter got pulled into the fray of all this anarchy in the arena at AEW. And you talked about that on the NWA podcast. Chris, I'm wondering, what would you have done if you and your lovely wife had gone to WrestleMania and 1 minute you cheering for Logan Paul as you do, and then the next moment, drunk-ass Steve Austin runs into your section on an ATV? What would you have done, Professor?
I'd have just been like, the lawyer would have had to make a call and just cut me a check, It's that simple. It doesn't have to. It happened on camera for everybody to see. Charge it to the game, WWE, and pay that girl.
My favorite part about that, Chris, is Stone Cold knew he fucked up. Like, he was drunk, but he wasn't that drunk, because when he slammed into the barricade, you saw him try to reverse it, and he's like, it ain't backing up. Let me just get off of here and go into the ring.
I've ridden on one of those ATVs, being tipsy. It's not advisable. Those things are like those things have a lot of. I was surprised he was actually able to do that for as long as he did.
He was going
without
Yeah.
incident. Yeah, I mean but there's a first time for everything. You know, like most drunk drivers, they get away with it for a bunch of times before the one time they get caught, right? So I mean, it's like you gotta be smart about that kind of stuff. Nobody should have been put in that kind of position, and just cut that girl a check.
I am super curious what Nick Khan was saying.
Yeah, Nick Khan was over there for a little
minute.
minute.
He was over there in a flash. Dude, that man had probably hasn't ran that quick in that long.
Liability.
I'm sure
Let me go.
He probably offered her free WWE tickets for life or whatever. I'd have been like, Nick Khan, go fuck yourself. Give me and call it that. Go with your residuals and shit, with your fucking WWE tickets. But I'm sure he did some stuff like that. Or we'll introduce you to.
You can't buy me with a house show, Nick Khan.
Right. We'll introduce you to Braun Breaker. Like, bitch, almost get ran over by an ATV, and you offer me like Braun Breaker introductions.
Nah,
they ain't even gonna introduce Braun Breaker. They're gonna introduce her to Omos, who's just hanging out backstage.
Yeah.
If I was her, I'd have been hitting the Ezel from Friday.
Right.
And I would have been looking like, yo, whoever that is in that green shirt and that smiley face, I want to be next to him every show. Every show.
I need my flights comped, my hotel comped.
Right, yeah.
I want backstage passes, a meet and greet.
I get to pin somebody once.
Yeah, but you have to do right by somebody when that kind of thing happens, man. Especially when it's on camera, you know.
Yeah.
When there's no denying it, when everybody saw what happened.
And backstage somewhere, Jimmy Uso. Yeah. Backstage somewhere, Jimmy Uso was like, "Oh, now everybody cheering for drunk driving." Okay, I see.
That's tough.
Hypocrites.
Everybody catching straight tonight.
Yeah, my bad, Jimmy. My bad, dog. No yeet.
Jim already got a beat before me. Dang,
my bad, Big Jim.
Man, that's tough. So, how about you, Brent? Any other topics, or you, Jay? How about you?
I can throw one out to you guys because it's one of the other ones where I'm not sure. I'm assuming he's going to disappear for a little bit. Is what do you do with Gunther at this point?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I was saying if Vince was there, he'd be the goofy guy by now. So.
Oh yeah.
I think he's just gotta probably be off of TV for a few months, and then
he out here choking out announcers, dog.
Yeah,
crash out Gunther.
Yeah, because if he's a guy that you could keep off of TV for like 3 months, and then when you bring him back, he'll be a baby face, you know, kind of like what happened with Shawn Michaels after Sid beat his ass. He goes away for a few months, and then when he comes back, he's like the biggest face in the company. And I think you could do something like that with Slim Walter.
Slim Walter on these streets.
I'll be honest, after watching Monday, I am very concerned that we are getting a Michael Cole and Pat McAfee versus Walter or Gunther and like Ludwig or one of Imperium, and I do not want it, but it really felt like that Monday, didn't it?
And we're at least getting a McAfee Gunther solo, like 1v1 at least on one of these shows, maybe a Raw.
I don't know how you guys are, because I know you guys are football fans and stuff like that, but I hadn't really watched WWE product this regularly until it switched to Netflix because I don't have cable. And I was not used to Pat McAfee. And I can say with fair certainty, I do not like Pat McAfee's announcing style.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is a perfectly okay human being, but no.
When he's podcasting, he does have a little bit more charisma, and he's not my cup of tea, but I can listen to his show and understand why people like his show. On commentary, though, I'm with you on that, man. He's not the greatest. And
I'm trying to remember what it was. He said something when I think it was when Cena was finally did his return promo, like after going heel.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something like that is the worst thing of words that have ever been spoken or something like that. And my wife was sitting on the couch, not paying attention to the show. She doesn't really like wrestling. And she just looked up and looked at me and like, what the hell did he just say? With this, followed by like this look of like, why do you watch this guy now?
That's tough.
Yeah.
I think, as a broadcaster, I think I'm qualified to speak on this, gentlemen. I think Pat McAfee has his place where he really excels. Like College Game Day. I think Pat's energy on ESPN for College Game Day works because obviously he's passionate about college football, and he has an energy that kind of fits in that atmosphere. With wrestling, I think Pat could work as like the announcer you bring out for special events. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like special matches, and that energy works. But 2-3 hours of Pat McAfee is a bit much. And as crazy as it sounds, Jay and Girard, like I enjoyed the combination of Joe Tessitore, who is amazing, like has always been amazing. Joe Tessitore and Michael Cole at the end of this week's Raw. Better than McAfee, even though both of those guys are play-by-play guys, they were able to make it work and were able to get the storylines across because it's like, everything that we're watching is this spectacle, but the announcers are the ones who are supposed to make it grounded. And I feel Jim Ross did a great job of that back in the day. I feel somebody like, Gordon Soley, showing my age, was somebody that brought that gravitas. Tony Schiavone, when he wanted to work, was somebody who brought that gravitas back in the day and still has it in AEW. But Pat McAfee, I will say this. Pat McAfee is like hot sauce, Girard. You got to be very judicious with hot sauce. Like, I love hot sauce, man. Put a little bit of that on everything. But if you put half a bottle of hot sauce on your macaroni and cheese.
Rock
didn't like him is now. Oh, man. I guess Frank said, we coming for you, homie.
Dwayne slander.
On the edge of my seat for a second.
To jump on what Nate was saying, I think Pat McAfee is an acquired taste. He
is,
but I would rather hear Pat McAfee over Booker T doing commentary, honestly.
Well, I mean, that's easy though, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what Booker T is on half the time, man. Like, I used to think that he could show some promise, but he just gets worse and worse. I do appreciate the fact that at the Hall of Fame, when he got caught, he said that he would
they coming for us all.
Pray for that shit to be over so he could sleep. Everybody's crashing out, man.
Yeah.
For real. Everybody Wi-Fi crashing out. Everybody tapping out. Oh my goodness.
We ain't coming for us all.
Coming for us all. Well, Jay, would you like to add anything more? Would you like to add anything onto that subject matter?
You know what? I think we covered it all. I did like the 2-man booth that we had on Monday night. I do like Wade Barrett as a co-commentator.
Okay.
He's really good, really insightful. He has just enough pettiness about him that it doesn't overpower anything that his partner, his broadcast partner, is saying. So again, Pat McAfee is. I get the aesthetic. I understand why he is as popular as he is. But you're right, a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, Wade, especially with the Cena stuff.
Right.
Like he's like, I've been telling you guys he's been a piece of shit for years. And now you're mad at me for calling for like saying I told you so.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's see if with the brand split and the new draft that's probably going to be coming up after WrestleMania, if there's a shift in commentators. Then we get a shift in that. I know Michael Cole loves his Pat McAfee, and they built this great friendship, and it's revitalized Michael Cole, and it genuinely has, in my opinion, revitalized Michael Cole to feel more like a person than a robot, and just a puppet on commentary.
I think that's probably a combination of like a little bit of new blood at the right timing, and not Vince like screaming in his ear.
Because he was the worst commentator, and it wasn't. Now I can say it wasn't his fault, because for a while I didn't know. Like, I used to listen to Michael Cole sometimes, and he'd say the goofiest shit, and I think those were Vince lines. Like, I remember when Jerry the King Lawler, something happened to him, and Michael Cole had to say he suffered from anal bleeding or something in the commentary. It's like, what the fuck? And then
that's funny, pal.
Yeah, and I think Wade Keller
anal bleeding.
Yeah, and I think Wade Keller said Vince fed him that line. So I was like, oh yeah, that's horrible, man.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I would love to see if Pat has to have this feud with Gunther, go ahead, do his thing. But I truly think Gunther's going to be heading towards Goldberg and retiring Goldberg in SummerSlam, because SummerSlam needs matches, and Goldberg's waiting on that retirement, and he talked about it being later this year. And so, hey, I think it's inevitable.
That could either be like Gunther is good enough that could be, I won't say an amazing match, but he could probably pull something really good out of it, or that is going to be the train wreck of train wrecks. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that could fall apart really, really badly just based on Bill. Like, let's be honest here. Bill is what? He's 60 something now. Has he hit 60?
No, he's not 60 yet.
You sure?
He's knocking on the door.
He's
born in 66, so he's 59.
Okay, so he's knocking on that door. He hasn't wrestled in how many years now? It's been a couple. He wasn't the greatest wrestler to begin with, and like I said, Gunther's good, but there's only so much he can do with it. But like, hey, I'd be willing to see it, just as long as it doesn't end up with Gunther taking the pin and we don't see Gunther anymore.
Right? Yeah, like Gunther. I think Gunther's better than like a Braun Breaker at doing that, because I think Braun Breaker would kill that guy, not on purpose, but
15 minutes of spears just back and forth.
Yeah.
How about you feel? How do you feel about that, Nate? A Bill Goldberg versus Gunther, and that being the next big program for one Slim Walt. That is.
I mean, it'd be a good little bounce back program, and I tell you this, Brent Chittenden. As much as you want to disparage this man's technical acumen in the ring, I bet you Gunther versus Goldberg will be a better match than what we got from Cody and Cena on Sunday night, dog. And it'll at least be more entertaining. And it's hard for me to say because I respect Cena, and you know how much I feel about that man Cody Devontae Rhodes, but that match was lackluster. I feel like at least Goldberg, Slim Walt, it would be like half the time of that Cena Cody match, like 10 minutes tops. But I think the other thing is just the spectacle of it all. And if Goldberg comes in with the idea that I'm not going to win this match because I'm damn near 60 years old and this man Gunther is the future and the present of this business, then I think you can have some fun with that match. Big meaty man slapping meat.
But does he? That's the thing, is like, part of me says he's at that point where Goldberg wants to, like, go out on his back and understands wrestling. But the other part of me has seen evidence enough that, like, Nah, he'll want to win because his son will be in the front row or something like that.
Here's how you solve that problem, Brent. Here's how you solve that problem. It's a little theory, Girard, I have that I've called the Dolph Ziggler stratagem. So at the pay-per-view, Gunther wins as he should. The following night, Goldberg comes out and say, "Hey, I appreciate it. Good night. God bless." As he leaves, much like that follow-up with Dolph Ziggler, where we had an idiot come out there and keep putting Goldberg's name in his mouth, and he had to get speared 11 times. This is the perfect utilization. 2 football players going up against each other. We have Pat McAfee come out here and run his mouth about Goldberg, take a couple spears, take a couple jackhammers. Pat ain't got no problem with that. Pat would probably love that. It would be in his highlight reel, and that way Goldberg gets to at least go out destroying somebody.
Right, yeah. And Goldberg's kid is a grown-ass man now. I mean, he
comes Gage.
Gage Goldberg.
Yeah. He could take.
That's a tough name. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Come on here, Double G.
Double G.
Yeah.
But with that being said, if nobody else has any other topics, we're going to kick off with the last thing I got for folks. And it's called the Nation of 3, where we want to nominate every month 3 people. We want to nominate a winner, the best booking decision, the best performance, the star that we want to highlight this month. That's our winner. That's our one in the nation. We also want to nominate our loser of the month, somebody who might have been struggling on the struggle bus, if you will, with the program, with a booking decision, with the aftermath of a booking decision, and it's affected their character. So we want to highlight that this month. And then there's that person that they just died. They maybe they got some potential and they growing there, or maybe it's they had the potential, but it just didn't hit what you actually wanted it to be. So it's all right. So that makes up our Nation of 3. So with that being said, I want to throw it to one of our guests. I want to say, Brent, who do you have within your Nation of 3?
Okay. No, go to Nate first. I need to percolate on this a minute or two.
It's time for the percolator. And I believe Ray Williams, do we have some imaging for this? Like for the winners and then the losers and then the okay?
You win.
So for my winner, WrestleMania weekend. Obviously, I think in the discussion is Io Sky. In the discussion is our main man, Jey Uso. But I'm going to go off the board and pick the guy that did the most with the least. The guy that maximized his time and came out of WrestleMania weekend, the true winner. Say his name, Brent Chittenden, and he appears. This man, Joseph Robinette Hendry. Joseph Robinette Hendry came off the mean streets of TNA wrestling, Girard, and got a WrestleMania payday, dog, only in America. And you can talk to me about how the belt was diminished, and yes, it was, But these folks in that stadium didn't care about that belt in the first place. But you know what they did care about, Jay? This man, Joe Hendry. They knew his song. They was clapping along. They was doing the waves. And he got a little bit of offense in on Randy Orton, and then took a hell of an RKO. The second one was egregious. You was wrong for that, Randy. You ain't had to do that man like that. But that first RKO was a thing of beauty. And so we already saw the follow-up. Joe Hendry showed up on NXT Tuesday night and got in the middle of Trick Williams and Obafemi and they little beef. And so, I feel like Joe Hendry, what this little weekend run has done to diminish the TNA World Title, I think it's done exactly the opposite in terms of building up Joe Hendry stock. I'm calling it right now. Future NXT World Champion, Joe Hendry. Say that man's name, and he will appear in your NXT main event. Good for you, Joe. You're the winner for me for WrestleMania weekend.
All right, and who do you got for your loser? Go ahead and go through your whole nation.
You lose.
Ray Williams with the production, ladies and gentlemen. My big loser for this week, I'm going to say it. One, Paul, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Levesque, McMahon. Dog. This to me, Girard, is the first, and I'm not going to say it was a dud. I'm not going to say WrestleMania was a dud this year. But to me, this is the first WrestleMania under the Triple H regime that just ain't hit really for a lot of people. And it's not due to the performers. It's not due to the setting, even though I do feel like they got to do something. And I know it's time zones and stuff, but WrestleMania, and I felt the same thing about the WrestleMania in Levi's Stadium with Sting. Like WrestleMania, where it's still light outside, it just don't quite hit the same in certain aspects. But the booking of this show just didn't hit for me. And I can't put that all on the performance. I can't put that all on the creative team because I don't even know half those people. But I can put it on Triple H because at the end of the day, the buck stops at the top. So Triple H is my loser for WrestleMania weekend.
Okay,
but he's not watching this show because he don't see color.
Oh man, that's tough.
That's tough.
And so then, who do we have for your person who is all right this month?
It's not right, but it's okay.
Well, that's all we got on that one. Okay, right? Because you embellished the other two. I was waiting for the embellishment. So for it's not right, but it's okay. We talked about how this man looks stupid in the main event of night 2. We talked about how, and John Pollock brought this up on Rewind to Raw, like opening the door for the crowd to boo John Cena may have repercussions if that's not something you intend to do in the near future. Because we've seen, Girard, how like these audiences can kind of be copycat audiences. So if it's okay for them folks in Vegas to boo Cody, we can boo Cody too here in Peoria, Illinois. And that's not kind of the thing you want following this dude around if it's not time for him to be a heel yet. Even though I think Cody knows how to navigate those waters. He's smart. But I feel like Cody's edge that he had that night at the Elimination Chamber where he told The Rock to go F himself. And we're like, okay, Cody ain't one of these soft, mamby-pamby type of baby faces. Cody got a little edge to him. I feel like they took a lot of that away in that main event. But at the end of the day, I'm still here for this man, Cody Rhodes. So Cody, what they did to you Sunday night, it's not right, but it's okay.
All right. I like that. Well, Brent, have you had enough time to be in the kitchen with us?
Yes. I've my picks.
Chef Chittenden.
So for my winner,
You win.
I'm gonna Joe Hendry is definitely in that conversation, like what Nate said, is like to the point where does TNA even bother giving him an offer? Like they just like it's like a foregone conclusion. I think at this point that like we know where he's going when his contract's up. Like, do they even try, or is like handshake, good working with you, maybe see you down the road? Beyond that, I actually feel a lot that Jade got a bit back for herself on this. I would say that she's a winner, but along those lines too, Jade, I know you watch these gentlemen for numerous reasons. You watch the show. Let me say something to you, young lady. Your ring gear, roll around in it a little bit before you start using it. You are a very attractive young woman. I think you can figure out where I'm going with this. Things move differently when you're wrestling than they do just wearing something. And this ain't the first time it's happened to you. Wear it in the ring a little bit. Just saying. For my loser, Charlotte, unfortunately.
You lose.
Charlotte. Charlotte is like, I honestly like think she is a great wrestler. She's not one of those people that like I can point to, oh, it's because she was in the ring with like better opponents. No, she was good too. Whatever happened in that match, or maybe it's the promos leading up to it and you were off. I don't know. But at the end of the day, not only didn't she not get the win in the actual match, but like that, like there's no real there's no real direction for that. Threw me off completely. There's no real good direction for her coming out of this. Like, what do you do with her? And that's almost, in many ways, that's almost worse than having like bullshit thrown at you. Because bullshit, at least you can shovel it. And nothing there that, like, what do you do? So, and for my all right,
It's not right, but it's okay.
Probably Lara Valkyrie.
Oh.
Just that she is sort of now caught in this aftermath of an angle that I don't think she's the one that's going to get focused on in it. Like after Monday, like in that match, she wasn't the focus. It was Becky coming back, right? They win, then they lose the next night, and Becky beats on her. But I feel that's more going to end up in a program between Becky and Bayley than anything else.
Ooh.
Or if not Bayley, I feel so bad for that woman. She got pulled out for this, and then like, okay, I get it. Becky's coming back. Yeah, this makes sense to do this. All right. And then to turn her heel the next night is like, what the why was I pulled off of WrestleMania for this? So yeah, and in the meantime, like I'm thinking about all that. Lara Valkyrie is just sort of sitting there going like, hey, what I was in that tag match too, and I was good too, but just nobody remembers it.
And that's the women's IC champion, and yet
yeah,
that's the spotlight we're giving her. So
yeah, so there you go. There's my 3 picks.
All right. I like that. Professor, let's rock with it. What you got?
So, for the winner of WrestleMania weekend, I picked
You win.
the women, Jade and Bianca. I thought they were my favorite part of WrestleMania. My loser, since I was going to give it to Rock and Triple H. Since Nate went Triple H, I gotta give it to the Rock, man. And it's not just that they booked this stupid shit and he didn't show up for it, but the way he's been on media trying to defend that is just real. It's a struggle defense, man, and it made me want to cry a little bit. And then which is the other one? I want to say Ricky Saints. I actually like he had a good WrestleMania weekend, but I still got to give him the okay until further notice. I have to see the totality of what NXT does with them. And then I'll judge that run, and then when he gets to the main roster, I'll judge that separately.
Okay. Salute to Ricky Superdome on these streets.
Yeah, and I still have to get ready for this banquet.
Hey, don't blame me. It was Jay. Jay the one that came up with it.
No, that was wild. Somebody had mentioned, and I'm like, yo, we got to pause on that one.
But how about you, Jay? What are you feeling? Who's your nation of 3 this month?
All right. We have not talked about this. My winner.
You win.
Dominic Mysterio.
Okay.
Oh, good choice.
I was besmirched, dragged over coals. He ain't winning, Jay. He ain't winning. No, that man is winning. And did you see the reaction when he pinned Balor? I'm calling him Pin Balor from now on. I hate that. I hate him pin, but he made the pin. The crowd went banana, right? He went out, celebrated, walked up the ramp. He said, you know what? I'm going to soak this in. Ran back in. The crowd went banana again. That's my winner for the weekend, Dom Mysterio. My loser. They call me Big L.
You lose.
special recognition goes to Tiffy Time and Charlotte Flair. They would have took the L. Triple H would have took the L, but he was already mentioned. So special recognition to them. I'm giving it to Travis Scott.
Ooh.
He had no boom for that one. He had no business walking his 145-pound self up to the ramp, trying to get involved in the Matt Classic that should have been, taking the Crossroads, adding nothing to the match except misery. You know, he's got to take the biggest L from the weekend for that. For the mid, I have to go with Lyra Valkyrie.
Okay.
Mid. I mean, I did not like the way that Big Time Bex basically sunned her. You know what I mean? After she turned on her, the look on Lyra Valkyrie's face was pretty good. Yeah. The look on her face was like, why are you hitting me? Why are you hitting me? I did not like that at all. It made the turn worse. And somebody already said about feeling bad for Bailey on this one. I felt horrible for Bailey. This whole turn that, it could have waited. It really could have waited. It didn't have to be done immediately. But I understand it gave, Liv Morgan and oh my gosh, her name's slipping my mind, but her tag team partner,
Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, Raquel Rodriguez, Double R. Giving them the 4th time on the tag match. I mean, that's great for history. And it was like a red herring as a telltale that they were going to go that direction when they announced, hey, they have a chance to be 4-time tag team champions. So my wrestling radar was going off with that. So all that was mid.
Okay. Definitely understandable with that. And being there live, there are people in the crowd just like, Lyra, fight back. Do something, Lyra. Why are you just sitting there? What are you doing? So, no, for people at home to feel that same way and to have that reaction, it means we need to do something different and something better with that woman. So, but if we gonna move on to my winner,
You win.
I'm looking at Io Sky because we are looking at a woman that I projected to win the Rumble and win the Rumble. Kind of just got thrown out. Went on to not even qualify for Chamber, but she had to get the hand-me-down title match after the Chamber. So cool, she got that title match. Let us not forget this woman, after kind of chasing and losing to Liv in that world title match at Saturday Night's Main Event, was then thrown into the IC title tournament to take over for Kyrie, and then ate another L after that, and was continuously eating L's up to Mania, but now has been on this trajectory of just building her and growing her star presence. And just like Dom Mysterio had that huge reaction at WrestleMania, Io Sky's reaction at Mania went crazy. People were jumping out their seat the second they realized she was getting up off the turnbuckle from being knocked out to hit that over the moonsault. People were geeking for her. The next night on Raw, people were geeking for her. So she is growing her brand, her presence, and she is well deserved of being a winner, in my opinion. Now, my loser, in my opinion,
They call me Big L. You lose.
I'm looking at Juan Cena because I need you to give something better than that, my dog, for the WrestleMania main event. You've been to too many WrestleMania main events in the past. I've seen you do good work. You've worked against too many good heels. There's too many good heels in the back. I don't know who, Bobby Roode, help you put this match together. But I've seen Bobby Roode and TNA have a lot of great matches as a heel. Crazy thing. He had a record-breaking title reign as a heel. Betrayed his own best friend as a heel. Where's all that good love and energy into this match and this title reign? And this is how we win 17. When I got people at work like, man, that's how that match went. Man, I'm glad I ain't spend that money on them tickets. To my face, I'm like, oh man.
Damn.
Girard catching strays too. Dang.
So, because I'm catching strays at work. One will show a loser, my dog. So put that on Cody. not Devontae. And then my eye.
It's not right, but it's okay.
I'm definitely going with Naomi because I see potential in it. I wish she would have won at WrestleMania.
Pretty good.
It was still pretty good during the match.
Pretty.
We still had that good moment during WrestleMania between those two, but I was looking for Naomi to win that match because she deserved and needs the win, in my honest opinion, because of the beatdown she was catching from Jade leading up to this. But
Right.
there's still the future, and what do they like to say? Let it play out. Just shut up and enjoy the ride. Well, I'm trying to sit. I'm trying to sit where I need to be to enjoy the story, but I'm gonna need you to pick up that pace a little bit because we cruising through traffic a little too slow for my liking with Naomi because she deserves that opportunity. And I say that to be her promo she cut at Wale Mania. If you all can find a clip of it, there's some clips I've seen kind of circulating of it. She cuts this promo on the crowd and about her angle and everything she's been going through. And just the way she ends it off, just like proceed with motherfucking caution. Like she does not play. That it was watching that promo live made me say, oh, she needs to win this match. And to not have that happen at Mania, I'm like, okay, Jade needed that too. I don't want to push that sister down, but my sister Naomi, she been waiting. She been in the wings. It's time for her to fly. So let's go. So that's my eye for the month. So, but with that being said, I would love to give some outros and also promote some shows for the Nefarious Network coming up. So I'd love to pass it to the Godfather, Brother Nate Newton.
All right. First of all, I think Ray, can you hit the winner signifier one more time?
You win.
Want to give another win to Jey and to Girard for the first episode of Ring Theory. These brothers we all put this show together really within the span of a month or less. When you really think about it, from the time we came up with the idea to execution tonight, and I thought y'all did a great job first time out, and it's only gonna get better from here. This is y'all first tag team match on the main roster, and y'all acquitted yourselves very well. So I appreciate you brothers and what you bring to the Nefarious Media Network. Speaking of said network, ladies and gentlemen, you can't get this shirt. It's not available right now. It's 1-on-1. Just like I got like a nefarious. Actually, I was gonna say my Nefarious Media wine glass is 1-on-1, but they sent me 3 by accident. So you know what? One of these days we might have like a special surprise, special giveaway or something, for these 2 extra wine glasses I got, or I might just keep 3 wine glasses and have 3 drinks at the same time. Who knows? Depends on how my day at work goes sometimes. But for more from the Nefarious Media Network, first thing you got to do is subscribe. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, BlueSky. We still got a TikTok somewhere. Ray did no dances in a while. Ray got to get back on his TikTok grind and learn some of these new dances so we can get some views. But follow us on all our socials. That's where you're going to hear all of our ideas and upcoming schedules for new shows and content, things of that nature. If you want to support us, we are still building. We've just passed the 3-month mark for this venture. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. $5 gets you in the door, even if you're in Canada with Brent and with them tariffs. But if you want to pay more, we won't stop you, man. We got a lot of good stuff coming out. In addition to Ring Theory, which will be a regular part of the rotation. We got the SBF podcast, Styles Break Fights with Ray Williams and Chinyere Okafor. We got the Kings of Sport, the OG podcast, the flagship of the Nefarious Media Network. We've got the Avengers Initiative with Jennifer Smith and Brittany Monet and myself, where we talk about all this MCU stuff as we head down not the road to WrestleMania, but the road to Doomsday. And we've also got the Parlay, which is kind of the show about nothing, where we just kick it with our friends here in the podcast space. So we got a lot of stuff going on, man. We're trying to keep this thing going with truthful, thoughtful, turned up commentary on the world, the way we see it and the way that it is. So we appreciate y'all for supporting us. If you just want to support me, the way you do that is by supporting my team. You see how I turned it around? But if you do want to just support me individually and personally, follow me on the socials, man. and sign up for the Patreon because that helps all of us. So again, shout out to Girard and Jay, and shout out to Ray behind the scenes running the controls. So great first effort, fellas. I feel like y'all was like Joe Hendry if Joe Hendry would have beat Orton. Like y'all came from out of nowhere, had the biggest pop of the weekend, and got the dub, and that's all we ask for out here.
We appreciate that, man. I truly do appreciate the praise, and it's an honor. It's an honor to be able to be a part of this show and to kick off something brand new for the Nefarious Media Network, and also to do it alongside some great people. So, what can I say? It's been a blessing. But I want to give everybody else the opportunity to also sign off and promote what they need to. So, Brent, our guest, hey, go ahead and hit off everything you would like to say and everything you got going on, man.
So, a couple things from the Fred Savage of Undercover Brother. I am the diversity hire of Nefarious Media. You can find me at TrueNorthNerds.com. It's the podcast network where I talk about a lot of nerd stuff with my friends and my wife, as well as like comics, movies. We have a show called Listen to This, which is a music-based show. I'm doing a like bi-weekly kind of like quick hit show. And then on the Patreon, there is a longer form show, which Nate Milton has been on before. As part of that, our patreon.com/TrueNorthNerds. You can spend $3, which for you Americans with the conversion rate, that's like, I think 50 cents out of your pocket these days. Great deal for a bunch of exclusive content. I'm trying to make more of it, including a shared show between my network and the Nefarious Media Network called Kung Fu Island, which Nate and I go and watch kung fu movies. Some of them are good, some of them are not. And we have commentary on that. We're looking to do a season 2. We're just sort of working out dates and schedules and things of that nature. So that's the main thing that you can find me on. The other thing is I'd be remiss if I don't kind of promote my day job a little bit. Next weekend, as of this recording, so we're looking at May the 3rd, Free Comic Book Day. If you have a comic book shop that you like going to, go to it that day. They will have free comic books to give to you. If you are in the Northern Ontario area, come to Barrie, come to Big B Comics. I will be there handing out free comics and selling comics. So, that's it for me. Thanks for having me on. This was great. I love talking wrestling with guys who know what they're talking about. So this was a lot of fun.
Real quick before we go to the next set of promotions, Brent said he'd be remiss if he didn't mention his day job. I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Brent is internationally ranked as the number 2 pound-for-pound Chittenden in the world, only bested by his wife, the lovely and talented Jen Chittenden, my co-pilot on an episode of the Rocky Maivia Picture Show. So salute to the top-ranked Chittenden in the game, Jen Chittenden.
One of these days, I'm going to mention that to my dad and see what he says.
Where does fall in the rankings? He's coming for that spot, Brent.
Nice.
Well, Dr. Chris, please.
All right. So
tell us where we can follow your writings.
Yeah. After I do this, I have to check out because I do still have to go to this banquet. It starts at 7.
You ain't going to no damn banquet, Chris.
No, I have to.
You ain't.
I got no choice in this matter.
Oh, it's a mandatory banquet?
It kind of is. It's not. It's a voluntary, mandatory thing going on. So,
Voluntold, bro.
Yeah. So the dean of the department asked me to go. So
okay.
Yeah, that's when you go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. So
best for business.
right. Follow me on BlueSky. KMEZ does it. My Twitter's still open, but that's mainly to just keep people from imitating me on there. So, and that's at KMEZ does it as well. And you can follow me, my Substack, the Thinking Class with Professor Ely, where you can read my articles and my book. That's in the hands of the literary agent now. So whenever she makes a deal with the publishers and I know a date, I'll let y'all know.
Money
And
moves.
that's it. And it's a great show, you guys. And I'll catch everybody on the flip side.
All right,
Thank you,
Chris. Have
Professor.
fun at your
Yes,
banquet,
sir.
dog.
All right, thanks. Peace. Yeah.
But hey, my tag team partner, Jay, go ahead and speak to the folks. Where can they follow you? Where can they hear the gospel from you?
Okay. First of all, thank you all for being a part of this first episode. It was a blessing to be a part of this podcast platform, Brother Nate. Thank you so much. Brent, thank you so much, my man, for showing up, showing out. Maria, thank you. You can find me on BlueSky. There's the information below on the handle right there. You can also catch me up on Twitter at Jey Lacey. That's JeyLace. You can catch me up on Instagram as well. Jerk wins. You can also catch me here on this the nefarious platform. So, doing the Ring Theory. I might pop up and show up at an NWA podcast. You never know. I might pop up on the parlay. You never know. Anytime they show up, have the bat signal ready for me. I'm watching. I'm waiting. I'm here. So follow me on those platforms, and I'll see you on the flippity flip.
Hey.
Now to
And-
you, tag team partner Girard, thank you again too, putting this together as well too. So let you have the final word.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. And you can follow me right here at Nefarious, of course, doing my thing, cutting my teeth, earning my stripes, trying to climb up the roster, doing my thing. So just like Jay, when I can, I'm here doing my thing, doing my thug thizzle. Ain't got no time for the brittle. I got to do my thug thizzle. And so with that being said, you can find me on one of my indie feds. You can find me on the Wrestle Hook podcast where I first started cutting my teeth. We do that weekly. You can also find me on Head Cannon Graps where I do my own videos. And sometimes some of those beginning points of those theories you'll hear on here start off over there. So if you want to hear some of those rough drafts, come on over there to come walk with me. But with that being said, this is not it. And this is not the end of Ring Theories. We'll be looking at talking about Becky Lynch turning heel. We'll go deeper into that in the months when that is more revealed. Hey, Jey Uso won the world title. What's next? Who's next? How long does he hold that belt? We're going to get in the kitchen and cook that up as well and start thinking about where's that going. Looking at, his family, though. Jacob Fatu just got that U.S. title. How long is he going to have that? How does the future of the U.S. title look like on SmackDown with new Mr. Fatu being the champion? We'll dive into all that alongside what's next for NXT. We got a lot of brothers down there that could possibly move up in that draft. And that draft is on the horizon. And so we will definitely be booking stuff out for the future and collecting our Ring Theories. So for our fans, for our people, hit like, hit subscribe, follow the Patreon, but also make sure to lock in, get your headphones turned up, and dial into these theories, man. Peace.